Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Kurama trains Naruto for Chunin exams part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Team 7, after the battle on the bridge, decide to return back to Konoha, and Naruto also decides it's time for a change in his attitude. During this mission he learned that the life of a shinobi is a dangerous one, so he decided to let down his mask of stupidity. Also, after their battle on the bridge, Naruto, after his large use of the Kyuubi's chakra during his battle against Haku, developed a mental connection with Kyuubi, allowing them to communicate with each other. Kyuubi, remember the first time we met after our battle with Haku? Naruto asked Kyuubi. Of course, Kit. Although it wasn't the best introduction, haha. I can still see the priceless look on your face. Haha, why you looked like you were about to piss your pants, ahahaha. Hey, it's not that funny, Naruto fired back with a mental shout. Flashback. Naruto was resting in Tezuna's residence after their battle on the bridge with Haku and Zabuza. He was sleeping like a log and looked like nothing could wake him up. We might as well let him rest, Kakashi said in a lazy tone. Yeah, the dobe really put up a fight yesterday against that fake Hunter-nin, the Uchiha survivor commented. Yeah, but I'm sure you would have beat up that masked freak if you weren't knocked unconscious, isn't that right, Sasuke-kun? Added Sakura, the useless pink-haired teammate. Sasuke didn't answer, but scowled when Sakura mentioned the part where he got knocked out. And with that they left the room. Back with Naruto. Physically, the sleeping blonde Jinchuriki looked fine in his sleeping state, but what was going on his mind was another story. In Naruto's mindscape, Naruto was walking through what looked like a sewer complex. Where am I? Naruto thought to himself as he wandered aimlessly around the sewer. Water splashing with each step he took until Naruto heard something that sounded like snoring, really loud snoring. Now that's weird, Naruto said to himself. He then started following the sound until he came to a large room, and in that room was a really big cage. Holy shit! Naruto yelled like a little girl, his eyes widening to the size of dinner plates. His girlish shriek grew louder when the cage spoke. Shut up, Gaki, I'm trying to sleep, the cage said. Then Naruto saw something shift inside the cage and it was big. Naruto then crept closer to the cage and peeked in between the bars and saw a hint of red fur. He immediately backed away a few paces from the cage. Hey, is someone there or something in there? Naruto asked the cage. The thing in the cage stirred, sharp claws went through the bars and rather close to Naruto's face. Naruto then fell on the ground holding his head and resumed his girly shriek of terror. The large thing, which turned out to be a fox, A/N. If you don't know who the fox is, then you are the biggest idiot on the face of the universe, started rolling around the cage, clutching its sides while laughing. Ha 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 ha. Oh Kami, Kit, you should see your face. Ha 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 ha. Naruto continued his scream while the fox began to calm down from its fit of laughter. Okay, Kit, you stop screaming like a little girl now. Naruto continued screaming like a little girl. Kit, please, you're embarrassing yourself. Naruto continued. The fox, knowing this would go on for a while, stopped trying to soothe the boy and began tapping its claw in annoyance against the floor while Naruto continued screaming. God, this kid has a large lung capacity. He's been going on screaming for 10 minutes now. The fox thought while still watching the young boy scream. Finally, Naruto began to run low on oxygen and started to stop screaming, which ended with Naruto gasping for breath. Yes, arigato Kami-sama. Finally you've stopped. Ahem, now then, Naruto Gaki, besides the fact you now hold the world record for the longest scream in history, you are probably wondering where you are and who I am, correct? The large fox asked Naruto. Naruto nodded dumbly. Okay then, Kit, I am the great Kyuubi no Kitsune and we are in your mindscape. Oh, so we're in my mind and you're Kyuubi. So since it's my mind I can change the scenery of this place, right? Because this sewer thing just isn't cutting it, Naruto told Kyuubi. Well, it is your mind, so I guess you can, answered the fox. Naruto nodded, and then sewer disappeared in a flash of light, and in its place was a beautiful forest clearing complete with trees that towered over the area, a large waterfall that led to a pond, and in the clearing was Naruto and Kyuubi. Kyuubi was out of his cage, but wore a collar with a dog/fox tag with kanji for seal on it. Much better if I do say so myself, Naruto said, looking at his handiwork. I must say, Kit, you've really outdone yourself changing the scenery. I can now stretch my legs because of this. I will offer to train you when you're by yourself. Just meditate, and you'll instantly come into this clearing you made. But right now I'm hungry, so Jana, the fox added to his compliment with a hungry look on his face as it spied a rabbit in the far-off corner of the forest, and then sped off. You're welcome, Naruto called to the fox as it chased the rabbit into the forest depths. Well, guess it's time to go, Naruto said to himself. Exit Naruto's mindscape. Naruto then woke up with a start. Naruto then shook his head side to side rapidly due to the massive head rush he get from getting up so quickly. Whoa, big head rush, he whispered to himself. Sigh, at least now I know Mizuki was telling a bit of the truth. The fox was sealed in me in order to protect the village. But why me? Naruto then ended his mental reverie when Sakura walked into his room and gasped when she saw him awake. Sasuke-kun, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto's awake, she called to her teammate and sensei. Naruto scratched the inside of his ear when Sakura yelled. Dear Kami-sama, I never knew the pink-haired banshee had such a loud voice. I nearly went deaf just from that sentence she said, or rather yelled, Naruto had mentally told himself. The Uchiha survivor and the copycat ninja were upstairs already and peeked into the room to see the blonde just staring outside the window of his room with a thoughtful expression on his face, making him look older than he already was, as his eyes looked like they held enormous wisdom and saw and experienced things no one else should see/experience. Hey Naruto, Kakashi called out to Naruto. Good to see you're all better. Naruto turned his head at the sound of his name and grinned at his sensei's words. Thanks for the kind words, sensei. It really means a lot to me to hear that you actually care, Naruto told Kakashi. Anytime, Naruto, and by the way, when we reach Konoha we're going to start some serious training. Kakashi replied to Naruto's compliment. Flashback end A/N. Sorry if the flashback was too long. Ah, those were good times, Naruto told Kyubi. Yup, good times. So what do you think that perverted sensei of yours will teach when you'll reach Konoha? Asked Kyubi. You know, I never really thought about it. I'll ask him. Naruto then cut off his mental connection with Kyubi and then ran to the front of the group to talk with Kakashi, who was reading his Ika Paradise novel, giving a perverted giggle every 5 seconds. Hey sensei! Naruto called to the Cyclops. Wow, hey Naruto, what do you want? Asked the Cyclops. Well sensei, I was just wondering what are you gonna teach us when we reach Konoha and when will it commence? Answering Kakashi's question with his. Sasuke and Sakura both listened intently to what Kakashi was about to say, because Sasuke wanted to get stronger to beat Itachi and Sakura wanted to get stronger to impress Sasuke, and both widened their eyes when Naruto had actually used a smart word in his question. Well guys, the training will start tomorrow because we have arrived, Kakashi pointed out, his finger pointing directly ahead of them. All 3 genin turned their heads and saw the gates of Konoha in the distance. And what your training is, well that's a surprise, Kakashi said with a smile which was shown as his eye turned into an upside-down U. All the genin groaned when their Cyclopean teacher told them that. Oh come on guys, just rest up and you'll find out tomorrow, which is actually not that far away, Kakashi said, trying to cheer up his students. Oh, and sensei, I'm going to start changing my attitude because during this mission I have realized that the life of a shinobi is not one to joke about, so I'm going to be more mellowed out. Then Naruto lowered his voice so Sasuke and Sakura couldn't hear. I want you to come with me so I can get some new clothes because I'm afraid I'll get kicked out like when I was younger. Kakashi nodded in understanding because when Naruto was around the age of 5, Kakashi was his Umbu guardian at the time and had to beat up a villager who was about to beat up Naruto after kicking him out of the store. Of course Naruto, and besides I also think it's time you should let down that mask, and that orange jumpsuit is just shouting out come and kill me, Kakashi said. Arigato sensei, and how did you know I was masking my true feelings? Naruto asked his sensei. Well, when you're an ex-Umbu you tend to pick up a few things, Kakashi replied. Oh okay, Naruto acknowledged the answer. Meanwhile Sasuke and Sakura were wide-eyed when they heard that Naruto was actually masking his emotions, which meant that his happiness and goofy attitude was all fake and that their teacher was an ex-Umbu. Then his crush on me could be fake. Wait, why am I sad about this? Can just give me more time to focus on Sasuke-kun, the pink-haired banshee thought. So the dobe was an unpredictable puzzle, but now I can crack him knowing his feelings are all a mask, and this might be a good thing because he might have been masking his strength as well. I'm going to have to spar with him tomorrow to gauge his abilities, thought the Uchiha survivor with a smirk on his face. Okay then sensei, let's go home, yelled the blonde maelstrom and then sped off to Konoha's gates. Kakashi and his teammates were trailing behind trying to keep up with Naruto, yelling for him to wait. When they reached into Konoha, Naruto sped off to his apartment saying bye to his teammates and sensei while thinking about tomorrow's training session. Kakashi had shined home while Sasuke and Sakura then walked calmly back to their homes awaiting the special training with an eager attitude. As you all know from the last chapter in Naruto, the Fox Sannin, Naruto and his teammates are about to get a surprise training exercise, and of course Naruto is always excited when it comes to wanting to be able to get stronger. And now on to the scene of Konoha. We found our blonde hero enjoying a nice cup of instant ramen for breakfast and a glass of milk, which is surprisingly not past its expiration date. Naruto, after finishing his breakfast, then walked to Training Ground 7 in his new clothes Kakashi got him yesterday, which comprised of blue long pants that reached just above the ankles, a black t-shirt with the kanji for fox on the front in orange. He wanted to keep his favorite color, but covered it with the genjutsu provided by Kyubi as he knew the villagers wouldn't like anything fox-related to be seen, and to top it off, a black hooded sweater with pockets on the front of the sweater. near the stomach area, like the gangster jackets, and the Uzumaki spiral imprinted on the back of it. And of course his trusty weapons was attached to his left pant leg since he's left-handed. You know, Kyubi, I never thanked Kakashi-sensei for helping me get some new clothes, Naruto mentally said as he started a mental conversation with his furry friend. Well, you should kid, I mean he did get rid of that horrific jumpsuit you were always wearing. I mean, Kami, that color isn't suited for a ninja. Well, it just happens to be my favorite color, you know, and by the way, I want to take you up on that offer of being your disciple, Naruto said. Well, then I will train like no other sensei has trained you before, so be ready to feel like shit after each session. Now then, I'm gonna sleep in my den that you made, Kyubi said with a bored tone. Naruto laughed inwardly and then set off towards the training grounds. Training Ground 7. Naruto had just arrived at the bridge at his team's training grounds to see Sasuke sitting on the bridge's handrails with a bored expression on his face while trying to act cool, and Sakura was staring at Sasuke with puppy dog eyes. Hey Sasuke team, Sakura-chan, Naruto called to his teammates. I see that Kakashi-sensei still isn't here yet. Hey Dobe, I see you weren't kidding about that change in your attitude and sense of fashion, Sasuke answered to Naruto's call. Yeah Naruto, you look kinda cool and good looking if I do say so myself, Sakura chimed in. Naruto chuckled. Thanks guys, Kakashi-sensei helped me pick them out yesterday and thanks for the compliments, especially yours, Sakura. To think you'd actually call me good looking for once, Naruto said. Poof! A poof of smoke then appeared out of nowhere. No shit, tongue sticking out. Yo, a familiar voice called out to the genin. The smoke cleared to reveal the Cyclopean Sharingan user Hatake Kakashi. You're late, yelled Sakura. Sakura then looked at Naruto with a confused expression. Naruto always used to join her in complaining about their sensei's tardiness, but now he just stood there and glared at Cyclops. Yes, well, I got lost on the road of life, lied the jonin. Liar! Sakura chimed in, rather loudly I might add, and once again Naruto did not join her in the art of belittling their teacher. Yeah, now then it's time to begin that special training I promised you, Kakashi said, ignoring Sakura and going straight to the point. Kakashi saw his students instantly become serious when he mentioned training. He then reached into his weapons pouch and took out 3 pieces of paper. Sensei, what are those pieces of paper for, and how will they help our training? Asked Sakura. Naruto and Sasuke were wondering the same thing. Kakashi chuckled at the question. Well, Sakura, these are no ordinary pieces of paper. These are, Kakashi took a dramatic pause, special chakra papers. You pump a small amount of chakra into the paper, and depending on what will to the paper when you pump chakra into it will determine your chakra's elemental nature, Kakashi said. The 3 genin then reached out and took 1 piece of paper each, but before they began, Naruto interrupted. Kakashi-sensei, how do you know what your chakra nature is? Asked Naruto. Oh right, I forgot to mention that, thanks Naruto. Naruto beamed at being acknowledged. Right, so as you know, the 5 chakra elements are fire, wind, water, earth, and lightning, Kakashi said as though it was the most obvious thing in the world, even though it is. The genin nodded. So when you focus chakra into the paper will change in different ways depending on your chakra natures. Some people even have multiple chakra natures, 3 at the most for normal people, but people usually have 1, Kakashi said. So if the paper cuts in half, your nature is wind, if it burns it's fire, if it gets soaked it's water, if it crumples up it's lightning, and if it turns to dust your nature is earth. The genin nodded at the information given to them. I have only lightning chakra and nothing else because some ninja have been said to gain a 2nd or 3rd chakra nature by the time they are jonin. Any more questions? Kakashi asked his 3 students. The genin shook their heads. Good, so get on with it. I want to see what happens, Kakashi whined like a 3-year-old. The genin laughed at his antics, except Sasuke, who smirked. The genin then began the process of finding their chakra natures, going one after the other. Sakura went first. She closed her eyes and focused her chakra into the special paper. Then the paper turned to dust in her palm. Kakashi chuckled at the sight. After all, Naruto did say Sakura's punches felt he was hit with a boulder. Well, Sakura, looks like you have an earth-type chakra nature, although I expected you to have a water nature, Kakashi said with a smile. Sakura grinned widely. Now it was Sasuke's turn. He closed his focus as he pumped a small amount of chakra into the paper. The paper then began to crumple up, but then after it crumpled it instantly caught on fire. Sasuke, afraid he would get burned, dropped the paper in a frantic fashion with a scared expression on his face. Sakura cheered for Sasuke because he had 2 chakra natures and started to compliment him, while Naruto scowled at Sasuke's luck at having 2 chakra natures. Naruto then began laughing at Sasuke as he looked at his to check if he had any burns on his hand. Well, Sasuke, I always knew you would have a fire nature because you're an Uchiha, and as you know, all Uchiha have it, but the lightning element was very unexpected, even I was surprised. Sasuke smirked at having 2 chakra natures, thinking he is now the strongest of the team, and then started to act all cool, but kept his eyes focused on Naruto, as he was the only one left. Sakura and Kakashi also stared at Naruto, curious to what his chakra nature is. Naruto looked around to find everyone staring at him, and then realized it was his turn. Naruto then stared at the paper in his hand and then closed his eyes as he began to focus chakra into the paper. Then the most unexpected thing happened. The paper was cut in thirds, then 1/3 was burned, a second third was soaked while the other third was turned to dust. Everyone's eyes widened at what was shown before them. Well, Naruto, it seems you have 4 chakra natures: fire, earth, water, and the rarest element found in people, wind. Kakashi said with a surprised tone, but then smiled later as now he could teach Naruto in order to complete a certain technique, A/N. Can you guess what it is? Yada, I have more chakra elements than Sasuke team. Naruto yelled in a louder than normal voice and began jumping around. Sasuke began scowling and glaring at Naruto. How could the dobe have so much chakra natures? I should be the one with all those powers. I'm an Uchiha for God's sake. Sakura then ran up to Naruto and began congratulating him on his achievement. Okay guys and girls, settle down, called Kakashi. Said guys and girl immediately silenced themselves and watched Kakashi, wanting to know what they will do now. Now that you guys know your chakra natures, and well, nature for Sakura. Sakura scowled at Kakashi's comment, but chose to spare her rant of doom. I will now teach you jutsus that will match your chakra natures and build your jutsu repertoire, and even though you all have mastered the tree walking exercise, I want you to continue it in order to build up your chakra reserves and control, especially you Naruto because of your condition, Kakashi said. Naruto nodded, knowing he was talking about Kyuubi. And I'll be teaching you the water walking exercise and do some spars, however we'll do some of that stuff another time. Kakashi then tossed a few scrolls from his weapons pouch to each of the genin, which they caught. These scrolls contain jutsu, and Sasuke and Sakura, one of your scrolls contain a taijutsu style for each of you learn. Sasuke, yours is the Golden Dragon's Fist, and Sakura, yours is the Wrath of the Banshee. Naruto, I'm still trying to find a style to suit you, okay? This is for each of you to learn on your own time, but for now I want you all to do the tree walking exercise until the end of the training session, and if you run out of chakra, just take a 10-minute break. That should be enough time for you to recover your chakra to almost full or completely full, Kakashi said. The genin then rested their scrolls by a tree near the trees where they were to do the tree walking. They began to do their training and continued to do so, taking their 10-minute breaks in between. When the time came to stop, they began to get ready to go home covered in dirt and sweat, but not before picking up their special scrolls. Don't want to forget those, they all thought, and then left for their homes. Naruto, on the other hand, headed straight for his favorite restaurant, Ichiraku Ramen. Hey Gigi, Ichiraku, 1 extra large chicken ramen please, Naruto called to the ramen chef. Sure thing, Naruto, the chef answered, and then began to whip up Naruto's order. Naruto then began to talk to Kyuubi about their training while they waited on the order. Hey Kyuubi, did you hear? I have 4 chakra elements: earth, water, wind, and fire. Naruto told Kyuubi in a mental shout. I know, I can hear and see what goes on through your eyes. Good job, Kit. I was surprised myself when you got earth and fire. The fire element is most likely from me, since we demon foxes have fire as our most common chakra element, but the wind really surprised because that element is the rarest element to appear in a person's chakra except in Tsunegakure. Naruto smiled a foxy smile from the praise the fox gave him, and then began eating, or should I say inhaling, his ramen when it came. So what are we going to be doing? Kyuubi-sensei sang the last part with a mocking tone. Kyuubi ignored the mocking tone and began to tell Naruto what they were going to be doing during their training. Well, Kit, tonight I'll be teaching you the Kitsuniken and your mother's fighting style, the Yuzuken. Naruto then left the stand after his 20th bowl and headed home with his new training scrolls in hand. Wait a minute, Kyuubi, you knew my mother? Naruto asked the nine-tailed Bijou, hoping to gain some information on his family. Actually, Naruto, I never knew your mother personally, but I spent enough time in their small village of Whirlpool Country to learn their family fighting style. However, I know her name was Uzumaki Kushina. If you want to know more, you could ask your Hokage. Kyuubi-sensei, that really means a lot, even if it's just her name, thanked Naruto. No problem, Kit, and by the way, when did you start to call me Kyuubi-sensei? Kyuubi asked his host. I just thought I should call you that since you will be teaching me, Naruto answered. Then Naruto, after arriving at his apartment room, had a shower, dressed himself in his pajamas, and then went to rest his tired body. Meanwhile, in Naruto's mindscape, he was training himself and his Kage Bunshin, with Kyuubi learning katas for both styles, since he learned that you can know what a clone knows whenever it's dispelled. This training went on for several hours, with Naruto feeling like shit at the end. I told to be prepared for feeling like shit at the end of each session, but knew you told me that you could handle it, you would feel fine. Shut up, Kyuubi, I'm going to rest my mind now, Naruto told Kyuubi in an annoyed tone, and then left his mindscape to go to dreamland. Today Naruto was walking to his team's meeting place, but rather slowly because all night he had trained in his mindscape learning the Kitsuniken and Yuzuken until he the katas for them like the back of his hand, and now he had mastered both styles thanks to his use of the Kage Bunshin. Kami Kyubi sure can be a slave driver. I mean, I'm grateful to him for training me, but dear Kami, I feel like shit, Naruto thought. Naruto looked at the sky, watching the clouds pass by. Naruto seemed to feel more relaxed as he looked at the puffy white forms of condensate water. Now I know why Shikamaru likes watching clouds so much, he said with a smile, and then arrived at the training grounds. Ohayo, Sasuke team Harunoyame/Hor, Naruto growled. His eyes flashed red. Sakura glared at the blonde and was about to rant about why he shouldn't call her one when poof. Hooray for poofs. Hey there, anyways I was late today because I signed you all up for the Chunin exams, Kakashi said. Sakura was about to yell liar, until she had registered what Kakashi just told them. Shinaro, now I can show Sasuke-kun how strong I am, Sakura whispered to her inner self. Kakashi then handed them the registration cards. Now then, intense training starting now to prepare you for your exams. They start next week Friday, so get ready to go home feeling like shit, Kakashi said with a smile. Naruto looked up at the sky. Why, Kami-sama, 2 of them are slave drivers, why Kami, why? Naruto thought as he cried. Okay Naruto and Sasuke, you guys seem to have a knack for offense, so I'll teach you the most powerful jutsus I know in my arsenal. Naruto watched this as Furuenden no Jutsu, Katan, Karyuhiki no Jutsu / Fire Style Fire Wall Jutsu, Suiton, Suryuden no Jutsu, and Doton, Dusokanawerata no Jutsu / Earth Style, Earth Shatter Jutsu. I will now demonstrate them to you, Kakashi said. Furuenden no Jutsu, Kakashi yelled, and then a huge dragon of wind blew out of his mouth, slicing anything near to shreds before it gave a roar and came into contact with a tree, shredding it to toothpicks and disappearing in a swirl of wind with a final roar. Suga, Naruto said. Sasuke glared at Naruto. Those jutsus should be mine. I need more power if I want to defeat him, Sasuke thought. Kakashi then demonstrated the rest of the jutsus and Naruto ran off to practice them. Okay Sasuke, I don't know much lightning jutsus and I know you can learn some more fire jutsus at home, so I'll teach what I know, Kakashi said and then formed some hand signs. Katan, Karuenden no Jutsu, Kakashi yelled, and then the fire dragon rocketed forward and exploded into flames as it blew up a rock. Sasuke smiled, this would prove useful. Raiten, Raikurai no Jutsu, Kakashi yelled, and then a powerful thunderbolt blasted from his fingertips as Sasuke's smile grew wider and wider as Kakashi showed him jutsu after jutsu. He will finally have enough power to kill Itachi. Sakura, let's go. Sasuke, learn those jutsus I showed you, Kakashi commanded. The Uchiha nodded and then went off to train. With Naruto. Naruto was sitting in a clearing in the forest near the training ground. He had quickly mastered the wind dragon technique, which found to be surprisingly easy, then proceeded to begin practicing the fire wall. Naruto formed hand signs and then spun. Katan, Karyuhiki no Jutsu, he shouted, and then a spinning wall of fire surrounded Naruto before it dissipated in a matter of 10 seconds. Finally I got it down, and only after my 10th try, Naruto said proudly. He then proceeded to learn the Dusokanawerata. He then formed the hand signs and slammed his palm on the ground. Doton, Dusokanawerata no Jutsu, Naruto yelled. Then he waited a while to see if anything happened. Naruto growled in anger, as he observed that no damage had occurred and then went to leave, but then he felt a rumbling underneath his feet. He turned back and saw the entire earth in front of him crack open and formed a huge chasm. Naruto's mouth was agape and then looked down the chasm. It was at least 30 feet deep and 5 feet wide. Suga! He shouted and then did a little victory dance. Then Naruto stopped dancing and heard a rustling in the bush behind him. Naruto took out his kunai to get ready for battle. The bushes spread and revealed glowing red eyes, and then what stepped out was so hideous, so ugly, so terrifyingly disgusting that Naruto had to resist the urge to empty his stomach. It was a Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto gave a sigh of relief. Oh Sasuke, it's just you. I thought it was something else, Naruto said. Sasuke's four Tomoed Sharingan, 2 in each eye, began to spin. Naruto took a step back as he looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, you alright, and why is Sharingan spinning like that? Naruto asked nervously. Sasuke surveyed the damage. Did you do this? Sasuke asked the blonde Jinchuriki. Naruto looked at Sasuke oddly. Yeah, why? Naruto replied. Sasuke then looked up at Naruto with an evil smile. I want to fight you, Sasuke said. Naruto stepped back again. I'm sorry, what did you say? The great Uchiha thinks he can't beat a dobe and had to test his abilities against him. Naruto said in a mocking tone. Sasuke gritted his teeth. Of course not, Demo, you said you were masking everything, feelings, attitudes, so you might have been masking your skills, so I want to see your true power, Sasuke said. Naruto smirked, and then his eyes flashed red for a split second. Alright then, Uchiha team, Demo, let's do this in front of Sakura and Kakashi-sensei. I want to show them your face when I end up kicking your ass, Naruto said confidently. You sound confident. Well fine, let's go, Sasuke said. Then the Uzumaki and Uchiha walked back to training field. A few minutes later they arrived at the training field, and then their eyes widened when they saw the field was covered in craters. Then they heard a yell, followed by a chakra spike and then a loud boom. The two genin quickly ran to the source of those occurrences. There they stood and saw Sakura holding up a sword of earth. She then threw the sword of stone, and it sliced through a couple of trees, and a boom followed after as it crashed to the ground. She then turned around. Hey Sasuke-kun, what do you think of my Doton Jutsu? It's called Sakura thought. What's it called again? She asked Kakashi. Kakashi sighed at how idiotic this pink-haired bitch was. For the last time, Sakura, the jutsu is called Doton Ken no Do / Earth Style, Sword of Earth, Kakashi said. Sakura nodded and then turned back to Sasuke. Well, what did you think? She asked her crush. Sasuke looked at the destruction and then nodded in acceptance, and then muttered his favorite word, that is, if it is a word. HN, he muttered. Sakura squealed in excitement before she jumped around shouting how Sasuke loved her, and all that shit. The three boys shook their heads in disappointment, then Naruto head shot up. Oh right, Kakashi-sensei, can you watch the fight between me and Sasuke? I want to show you how I kick his ass, Naruto said. Kakashi nodded and then sat against a tree. Yeah right, Naruto baka, you could never defeat Sasuke, he's an Uchiha, he's the strongest ever, Sakura yelled. Naruto growled at the pink-haired banshee. Sakura, look, do everyone here a favor and shut your motherfucking mouth. Honestly, you are so annoying sometime. No, not sometimes. All the time, now go away so I can beat this team, Naruto shouted in anger. Kakashi and the others were surprised at Naruto's outburst. They had never seen him become so angry. So much hate was shown in those cerulean blue orbs of his when he looked at Sakura. That hate only increased when he looked at Sasuke. Let's fight now, team, Naruto growled. Sasuke glared and then got into the Uchiha fighting stance. Naruto got into the stance of the Uzukin, which consisted of his left arm stretched out in front of him, his hand outstretched and his right arm placed at his waist, his legs shoulder-width apart. Come, little Uchiha, Naruto taunted. Sasuke then rushed Naruto and jumped to deliver an axe kick, but Naruto held up his arms and blocked it, and then grabbed Sasuke's leg and then swung him into the ground. Sasuke got up and then fired a punch aimed for Naruto's gut, but Naruto back-flipped to avoid it. Sasuke then formed hand signs. Katon, Gakaku no Jutsu, Sasuke yelled, and then a huge fireball sped towards the blonde, but Naruto jumped near the river and formed hand signs. Uzumaki secret jutsu, Yuzu no Tate, Naruto shouted. Then water rose up out of the river and swirled into a whirlpool before going in front of Naruto and protecting him from Sasuke's fireball. Sasuke couldn't believe his eyes. The dobe, he was losing to the dobe. Surprised as Sasuke, well, that's not all, Naruto said and formed hand signs. Suiton, Suryudan no Jutsu, Naruto said. The whirlpool then morphed into a dragon's head and then the dragon sped towards Sasuke. Naruto grinned like a maniac before he laughed. The water dragon gave a roar. Sasuke formed some hand signs and then held his hand out in front of him. Raiton, Rari Hiki no Jutsu / wall of lightning, Sasuke yelled, and then electricity poured out his body and expanded, forming a wall in front of him. The dragon crashed into the lightning wall and then disappeared in a splash. Naruto then ran forward, Sasuke also ran forward, and they engaged in a heavy taijutsu battle. Kakashi was on the sidelines, admiring the amount of skill Naruto and Sasuke had with their new jutsus, while Sakura was cheering on Sasuke. Naruto then aimed a kick at Sasuke's stomach, but Sasuke caught the kick and then twisted Naruto's ankle, intending to break it, but Naruto spun with the twist and freed his leg. Naruto then got back up and threw a few punches which Sasuke blocked. However, Naruto had then sent a fast kick to Sasuke's stomach, knocking the wind out of him, and then followed up by punching Sasuke in the chin. Then ducked and formed a Kagebunshin which kicked Sasuke in the chin, sending him upwards. Naruto followed up and added a kick of his own before grabbing Sasuke's ankles, formed a few flips and slammed Sasuke in the dirt. Naruto then rolled back onto his feet and threw a few shuriken. Sasuke slowly got up and then formed some hand signs and then spun. Katon, Karya Hiki no Jutsu, he said, and then a whirl of fire melted the projectiles. Naruto sneered at Sasuke, who grinned in satisfaction. Naruto then decided he needed to end this now, and then channeled chakra and formed some hand signs. Secret Uzumaki Jutsu, some no sway, Naruto said, and then water surrounded his hands and formed claws. Naruto showed his foxy grin to Sasuke. I win, Naruto said, and then disappeared in a blur of speed. Everyone's eyes widened at the pace Naruto moved at. Only Kakashi could track him. Naruto then appeared in front of the Uchiha with his claws of water held in front of the Uchiha's face. You are dead and I am the victor. I claim victory of this battle between myself and the Uchiha team, Naruto yelled and then looked at the time. It was time to go home. Sakura then looked at Sasuke and saw the bruises and cuts he had gotten from Naruto. She glared at the blonde who was celebrating his victory. I'll never forgive you for this, Naruto baka, Sakura said. Naruto turned and put on a mock sad face. Oh, how will I ever live with myself? He said sarcastically before he turned back to leave. Kakashi then got up to go and check on Sasuke before going to have a talk with our blonde Jinchuriki. Konoha streets. Naruto was walking down the street feeling rather good about himself as he ignored the villagers' glares which he received at a daily basis. He had learned some jutsu, mastered them, and then to wrap it all up, he had beaten the Sasuke's ass in front of Sakura and Kakashi-sensei. Yup, this was a good day, and also he got to go to the Chunin exams. Then he turned when he heard some footsteps behind him. Oh hey Kakashi-sensei, sorry about beating up Sasuke so badly, it's just that I needed to put him in his place, and to make a point, Naruto said. Kakashi waved his hand. No, it's alright, in fact what you say is totally true, but next time, don't be so rough, Kakashi said. What was that point you were trying to make anyway? That even a dobe can become strong, Naruto stated. Kakashi smiled and ruffled Naruto's hair. I'm proud of you, Naruto. I'm glad to call you my student. In fact, I think you're the only one who has enough potential to become Chunin. But in order to get through the first and second rounds, you need that aspect of teamwork with Sasuke and Sakura. So just try to get along with them for the time being, just until the third part of the exams. Okay, Naruto, Kakashi said. Hi, I'll try, Sensei, Naruto said, and then Kakashi left in a poof of smoke. Well, Kyuubi-sensei, time to train, he thought to the fox. I've already made the schedule kit, Kyuubi replied with a vulpine grin. Naruto's apartment in his mindscape. Naruto was in his mindscape when he arrived home and was training with Kyuubi. So, Sensei, what did you say you were going to teach me? Naruto questioned. I will be teaching you the ability to transform into an animal, namely a fox, Kyuubi said with a wide grin. How will turning into a fox help me? He questioned slowly as the words processed in his mind. Nice, I love it. Teach me, Naruto said in excitement. Kyuubi chuckled. Okay, so in order to turn into a fox, you must visualize the look of a fox, its scent, every single physical aspect of it if you want to become one of us, Kyuubi explained. Now just close your eyes and in order to turn into a fox you must say the magic words, I'm a big stupid fathead, Kyuubi said with a snicker. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. I'm a big stupid fathead, Naruto said, and then opened his eyes and looked at himself and saw the Kyuubi laughing and rolling on the floor. Kyuubi, I thought you said saying those words would help me, Naruto said angrily. Naruto, say those words slowly and you'll hear what they say and then you'll understand why I'm laughing, Kyuubi said and then returned to busting his gut and feeling his spleen die so many times from the amount of laughter. Naruto thought as he processed the words slowly through his brain. I'm a big stupid fathead, I'm a big stupid fathead, Naruto said to himself before his eyes widened in realization. Naruto glared at the fox. Now I know why people hate you, Baka Kitsens, Naruto growled. Ah, come on kid, don't be like that. Okay, to really turn into a fox you must do the first part of everything I said, and then you will morph into one of King, Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded and then closed his eyes and focused on being a fox. Then the most extraordinary thing happened. Naruto's whiskers became darker and then grew off his face and became actual whiskers, his ears elongated and became pointed like Kyuubi's, golden blonde fur covered his body, his toes and fingers came together and changed into paws and then finally, a single golden tail sprouted out of his skin, but the most painful part finally came. Naruto fell to the ground howling in pain, that's right, howling, as his bones and muscles rearranged themselves to form the bones and muscles of a kitsune's. Naruto then fell from 2 legs to all 4s and then Naruto opened his eyes. They were still cerulean blue, but the pupil was slitted and then Naruto let out a howl. Naruto then looked at himself. Ha ha ha, I did it, it hurt like hell, but I did it, I'm a kitsune. Then Naruto froze. How do I change back, Kyuubi-sensei? Okay kid, now that you've mastered the kitsune transformation, you must now do the Hanyu transformation, for when you accomplish this exercise you are no longer human or demon, but half demon, a Hanyu, Kyuubi said. Naruto was silent before he started freaking out. Ever watched Johnny Test? Well, you know when Dookie freaks out, yeah, Naruto's doing that. What do you mean I'm not human? People will surely notice the tails and ears poking out, Naruto screamed. Kyuubi waved his paw. Relax, just focus on changing into your human form and the transformation will do the rest. Naruto forced himself to calm down, and then focused, and his bones popped and cracked as he transformed again. This time he looked like his human self, except he now the hair by where his ears were had grown to cover it up, and the two fluffy ears stuck up out of his blonde locks, and the tail still swished behind him. Okay, now what? Naruto asked. How do I get rid of the fluffy thingies here and here? He asked, gesturing to his head and rear. You can't, but I can cast a genjutsu around you that will hide them, Kyuubi said. Oh well, guess I'll just have to get used to the tail and ears not being on the side of head, Naruto said. Guess I'd better get going then, later sensei, he said, and was about to leave. Oh no you don't, you will stay here until midnight. It's only 2:30 right now, and you will stay here and train in your transformations because at the speed you do it at anybody would have killed you by then, Kyuubi commanded. Naruto nodded. Yes, Kyuubi-sensei, Naruto said, and then for the rest of the day within the confines of Naruto's mindscape, his screams continued until midnight. Time skip next Friday. Over the week, Naruto had tried and eventually succeeded in trying to make things work out between Sasuke, Sakura and him. He told them that they would work together for the first 2 parts of the exam, and then during the final part they wouldn't help each other, and then the killing blow. Once they became Chunin, they didn't have to associate with him anymore, unless on missions. That got them to agree to help each other for the exams. Team 7 then walked to the academy building where the first exam of the Chunin exams was supposed to take place. Then as Naruto and the others were walking, Naruto rounded a corner and accidentally ran into a boy, about 1 year older than himself, and a girl was about 15 was standing behind him. Naruto dusted himself off and looked at the two. The boy was wearing a cat-like black bodysuit, wore some sort of kabuki paint, and to top it off some sort of large thing on his back wrapped in bandages. As for the girl, she was blonde, her hair tied in 4 individual ponytails, wore a purple top and skirt, and you could see she was wearing a fishnet suit underneath, and saw their Hitayatesh, both from the hidden sand village. Gomen Nasai, I wasn't watching where I was going, Naruto apologized. The boy, however, didn't take the apology and sneered at Naruto. I don't care, I hate when people bump into me, he said, and then looked at the girl. Temari, don't interfere, he added. The girl, defined as Temari, shook her head. Kankuro, can you anywhere without picking a fight? She asked with an annoyed tone. Kankuro smiled and shrugged and then cocked his fist back to hit Naruto. Naruto blocked the punch and then struck a pressure point on Kankuro's arm, disabling it. Kankuro was furious and then tried to reach the bundle on his back, but then a chilling voice was heard. Kankuro, stop this nonsense immediately, the scary voice said. All heads turned to see a red-headed boy standing upside down on a tree. He wore a brown and black outfit and had a most heavy gourd on his back and had a tattoo with the kanji for love above his right eye. Gaara Gomen, this Gaki here started it, Kankuro started, but was halted mid-sentence. Shut up, or I'll kill you, Gaara said, each word dripping with killing intent. Gaara then disappeared in a whirl of wind. When the wind was whirling, Gaara spied Naruto. He managed to paralyze Kankuro's arm and render him useless. He has skill, Gaara thought, and then reappeared between Kankuro and Temari. I'm sorry for the intrusion. I am Sabaku no Gaara, you, the blonde, what is yours? Uzumaki Naruto replied. Sasuke then stepped forward. I'm Uchiha Sasuke said as though his name meant the entire world. Gaara then turned away from Team 7, ignoring Sasuke. I will see you at the Chunin exams, Uzumaki Naruto. I will enjoy our fight, Gaara said. Naruto nodded and then watched the Suna team walk off. Team 7 then went to go to the Ninja Academy, the place where all their training began, where the first exam was to take place. Team 7 entered the complex, and then ascended to the 3rd floor. When they arrived at the 2nd floor, they saw a large amount of people standing there demanding to be let into a room that had been said to be where the Chunin exams were. Team 7 looked at each other with confused looks, but they had only gone up 2 floors. Then realization hit Naruto. Listen guys, he whispered, this is a decoy, this is really the 2nd floor, so I say we leave this room and go up ahead so as to lower our competition. Sasuke and Sakura were surprised at the blonde's sensory abilities, and then nodded dumbly. 3rd floor. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura walked up to the 3rd floor, and then when they reached the door, Kakashi was waiting for them. Ah, good, you all showed up, Kakashi said. What might have happened if we didn't, sensei? Sakura asked. You all would never be able to go in if it was only 2 of you, for in order to go to the Chunin exams, there must be 3-man teams, so go in and kick some ass, Kakashi said, giving a thumbs up. The genin nodded and then went to walk, but then Naruto was held back by Kakashi. Naruto, give them a good introduction, would you? Kakashi asked. Naruto grinned and nodded. The team then entered the room and their eyes widened. The entire room was filled with a mass of glaring genin, all the glares fired towards at them. Sasuke-kun, a shrilly voice cried. Sasuke was then glimpsed by Yamanaka Ino. I've been waiting for you in excitement, she said in a seductive voice. Sakura instantly got mad. Ino pig, get your hooves off of Sasuke-kun! The pink-haired banshee yelled to the blonde-haired banshee. The two banshees then yelled at each other, until two more people joined the party. Hey guys, can you turn it down? It's very troublesome, Shikamaru said as Chuji walked beside him eating his chips. Hey Shikamaru, Chuji Naruto greeted, giving them high fives. Shikamaru and Chuji smiled as they chatted with their friend. Naruto, nice clothes, looks like you finally decided to be smart now, Shikamaru said with a chuckle. Naruto was wearing a black jacket with the Uzumaki symbol on it, and remained open to show the world his dark blue t-shirt underneath, which had a picture of the yin and yang symbol with dragon on yin and a fox on yang, along with some long forest green cargo pants and blue ninja sandals. So guys, how's training with Asuma? Kakashi-sensei and my team have been training like crazy when Kakashi signed us up, Naruto said. Shikamaru chuckled. Yeah, we've training like crazy also, but Ino's been too much of a bitch, so it was really troublesome, Shikamaru said. Naruto and Chuji laughed at the insult towards Ino. Ino, however, heard that, started to shout at the lazy boy genius. Naruto found it was too silent, and then pointed his finger at all the genin present. Mina, I am Uzumaki Naruto and I will defeat you! Naruto yelled. The whole room glared and directed killer intent at Naruto. Naruto ignored them all and then fired back with a large amount of his own by firing up the Kyuubi's chakra. People then reduced theirs and backed and knew one thing: don't mess with Uzumaki Naruto. Hey Sasuke, we are so going to kick your ass, Kiba said as he and his team walked in. Kiba then walked forward and gave Naruto a high five. Kiba, buddy, how's it going? Naruto asked. Really good, but from what I can see you've gotten stronger and developed fashion sense. But Sasuke looks like a stupid asshole and Sakura no comment on her, Kiba said. Sasuke gritted his teeth at the insult and attempted to punch Kiba, but Naruto blocked it. Sasuke, save the violence for the exam, not now, Naruto said. Then there was a long moment of silence, so Kabuto had no reason to go over and get information on the rookies. Then a large poof of smoke appeared and then a tall man wearing a bandana with a Konoha symbol on it, and a long black trench coat with about 10 Chunin stood behind him. Okay Yugakis, time to shut your yaps and sit down. I am Marino Ibiki and I am proctor of first written exam, Ibiki ordered. Naruto cracked his fingers. Oh, this was going to be fun. Alright Yugakis, take a seat so we can proceed with this written exam, Ibiki said. Naruto went and grabbed a seat between Shikamaru and Chuji. Good luck guys, Naruto said to his two friends. Shikamaru and Chuji nodded and then looked at Ibiki as he explained the rules of the exam. Okay guys, the rules are that when the test is over, if you get one of the 10 questions wrong you lose 1 point, so you get 9 out of 10 and so on. Also, if you are caught cheating 3 times in a row you and your team are completely disqualified from the exam. Also, the 10th question at the end will be revealed 45 minutes before the exam is finished. Okay, and as soon as you receive your test papers you can begin, Ibiki said. The mass of Chunin then quickly handed out test papers and then took seats around the classroom, their clipboards at the ready, in order to write down the team that was caught cheating. Naruto then looked at the questions and immediately paled. Okay, first question. There is a line representing the distance a person can throw a shuriken. The radius of the semicircle shown is the line of enemy ninja. Show the calculations of how the ninja can hit all of his enemies using that one shuriken, Naruto thought reading the question. This question seemed near impossible. Naruto clutched his head as he watched Sakura just blaze past those questions, but only a normal person would have to cheat. Naruto showed his foxy grin, he then tapped his pencil on the desk. To most people it would only be a person tapping their pencil, but to experienced ninja, it was actually Morse code. Hey Shikamaru, we have to cheat, he tapped. Shikamaru nodded and tapped his pencil. Yeah, I realized, but we have no one to cheat off of, Shikamaru tapped back. Naruto thought, and then smiled. Don't worry, I have a plan, I can get the answers using a little technique I've been working on, Naruto said. Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome, but alright, say does Chuji know Morse code too, he asked. Naruto thought for a while. I think so, let me check, Naruto tapped. Naruto then kicked Chuji's leg. Chuji turned to Naruto and found him tapping his pencil. Chuji looked at the pencil for a few seconds before his eyes widened and he grinned. Chuji then picked up his pencil and began to return the Morse message. Naruto's eyes brightened. Oh yeah, he does, Shikamaru. Naruto tapped to the lazy genius. Shikamaru smiled. Naruto then tapped out the plan to Chuji. Chuji nodded and then Naruto set to work. Naruto used his genjutsu hidden fox ears to listen to the sound vibrations of Sasuke's pencil since he had obviously hit the jackpot with the person he was copying from with his Sharingan. Naruto then quickly wrote down the answers and when he had finished, he quickly tapped them out to Chuji and Shikamaru. While Naruto was tapping the answers to Chuji and Shikamaru, people from Konoha and the other villages were being caught cheating and the numbers dropped like flies, dwindling from over 100 to at least 55 teams left. After that, the three friends took a nap on the desk. Kankuro went to go to the bathroom with an escort Chunin. While in the bathroom, Kankuro laughed. Those Konoha nins didn't even notice there was an extra Chunin in the ranks. Okay, Kurasa, tell me the answers starting with number 1, Kankuro said, and then the Chunin's face started to crack off, revealing a wooden surface underneath. Time skip 45 minutes left. Okay, Gaki's pencils down. Time for the 10th question. Now then, before I ask the 10th question, does anyone want to drop out? If so, do it now, Ibiki said. Then immediately at least 11 teams dropped out, leaving 44 teams. Okay, as for those of you that stayed here, Ibiki took a dramatic pause. You pass, he said with a smile. Everyone in the room gasped. What do you mean we passed? What was the 10th question? Temari asked, not understanding the events that had just occurred. You see, the 10th question was whether or not you would have the guts to stay. The point of this test was to be able to gather information, thus you were required to cheat, Ibiki explained. Sometimes information of the enemy is vital to a village, and Ibiki then removed his bandana and the whole class was shocked. There on his scalp were numerous burns, slashes and holes from where screws were punctured into his head. It can even cost you your life, he finished. Cool, I bet his hands are worse, Dosu, an Oto nin thought. Then a black something blasted through the nearby window and then the black thing unfolded to reveal it was a tarp that read, Proctor of Second Exam, the awesome and knockout sexy Mitarashi Anko, and there in front of the tarp was a purple-haired woman, wearing umbu leg armor, a orange skirt over a fishnet outfit, and to top it off a large full-body trench coat, who would obviously be Anko. Anko surveyed the classroom and smiled. Everyone was freaked out by her entrance, except for a young Uzumaki Naruto who was checking her out. Anko grinned at Naruto, who just nodded in acknowledgement. Ibiki, you've gone soft. There are 44 teams left in here, Anko said. Not my fault if they want to die, Ibiki said. Well, I'll be sure to reduce their numbers by more than half, she said with an evil grin. Everybody shuddered in fear at what she had just said. Okay, boys and girls, follow me to where you're going to have your second exam, Anko said. The entire class got up and reluctantly followed. The class then walked through the village, and then entered an area with a sign that said restricted section. Naruto grinned in anticipation. Oh, he was going to have some fun today. Then Anko stopped in front of a large fence. Behind the fence was a large amount of dense foliage, where the sounds roars, hisses, branches snapping and other sounds could be heard. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to training grounds, number 44, also known as the Forest of Death, she said. Naruto smirked. Sounds fun, he said. Everyone looked at him, like he was crazy nut job, which he might have been. It does, doesn't it? At least for now. Just wait until you meet all the bloodthirsty predators in there. That's when the real fun starts, Anko said. Like I said, sounds fun, Naruto said. People began to back away from the blonde boy and purple-haired woman. I like you, Gaki. But anyways, back to the exam. Okay, the rules are simple. Since there are 44 of you, 22 of you will each get Earth Scrolls the half, Heaven Scrolls. The object of this is to go and try and get both scrolls by taking out other teams. Then when you have gotten both scrolls, you will head to the tower in the center of the forest where the other half of the exams are to take place, Anko explained. The genin all nodded. Now then, you will first sign this consent form before you get a scroll, Anko said. Why? Sakura asked. Because I don't want to be responsible for when the parents start crying when their Gakis die, Anko said with a grin. The genin then took a consent form and then one by one each team got either a Hine or an Earth Scroll. So we don't know who gets which scrolls, Sasuke said. Yeah, but that just means we have more people to fight, Naruto said. Sakura hid behind Sasuke, who was smiling at the thought of fighting people. Okay people, your teams will be assigned to a gate, and then on my mark the gates will open and the exam will begin, Anko said. Team 7 Gate 1. Team 8 Gate 2. Team 10 Gate 3. Oto Team Gate 4. Kabuto's Team Gate 5. Okay, on your marks get set, Anko began, the genin's legs tense ready to bolt inside the moment the gates opened. Ikuzo. Anko yelled and the gates sprung open and the teams sped inside the forest, not prepared for the horrors that wait within. Naruto and the team were jumping through the trees, looking out for any enemy nins that had Earth Scroll at having received the Scroll of Heaven, but then Naruto paused. Thanks Naruto's new advanced senses from being a fox, he smelled a new scent in the air, and it was a smelly smell, the smelly smell that could be so smelly. Naruto turned to his teammates. Oh come on Sasuke team, don't fart now, oh dear Kami, I need air, I need the luscious oxygen, Naruto yelled as he gasped for air. Sasuke turned red. It wasn't me, Sasuke cried. It was Sakura, he said, pointing at her. Sakura gasped. Oh my Kami-sama, Sasuke-kun, I'm a lady and ladies don't fart, Sakura said with a blush in her face. Yes, Sasuke, you have to use the proper term. Sakura has broken wind, Naruto said, and then he and Sasuke fell on their branches in laughter. Sakura was even more embarrassed, not because she was accused of breaking wind, but because she actually did. After Naruto and Sasuke calmed down from laughing, they had heard a rustling in the bushes below. Naruto and the others watched from their treetop perches, hinged as birds, and watched. But guys, I swear, I heard somebody laughing in this direction, and Aim Genin said, running out of the bushes. His teammates followed behind him and sighed. Naruto's eyes widened. They were wearing some kind of snorkeling gear and full-body elastic suits. One had both his eyes revealed, another had only one eye, and the last one had both his eyes covered. Oh come on, look, there's nobody here except for those three weird-looking birds that have been watching us for a while. Now come on, we have to find a heaven scroll. The birds' eyes widened at the word heaven, meaning that they had an earth scroll. Now when the Aim Genin had their backs turned to leave, Naruto and the others released their henges and dropped down on them like vultures. That earth scroll will be mine, Naruto growled as his eyes turned slitted. The Aim Genins immediately got into fighting stances. Naruto then rushed the one on the left that had his eyes covered, which was probably the most idiotic this to do when facing Naruto. Naruto quickly kicked the boy in the stomach. The boy groaned in pain as Naruto then elbowed him in the face, followed by a knockout blow by an uppercut to the chin. Sasuke and Sakura had taken down the one with one eye and were now looking at the one with both his eyes. Do you have the scroll? Sasuke asked in a sickeningly sweet voice, his Sharingan staring deep into the boy's eyes. No, the one with one eye does, he said, pointing to his downed teammate. Naruto went and held the scroll high and grinned. Huzzah, to the tower, my minions, away, Naruto said, and then walked forward, but then turned around and scratched his head. Which way is the tower? He asked sheepishly. Sasuke and Sakura's sweat dropped. Okay, Naruto baka. First of all, we are not your minions. Second, the tower as well. Let's see, judging by the wind speeds, differentiating the coefficients, and due to Sasuke blocking those winds, the tower can be said to be in the direction that is north. You're going east, Sakura said. Wow, Haruno, how do you figure that out? Naruto asked. Sakura pointed in front of Naruto. There's a sign right there in front of us, she said. Sasuke and Naruto turned to find a giant neon sign saying the tower is north, and a big giant arrow was blinking in the direction of the tower. Naruto's sweat dropped. How did we miss that? Naruto asked Sasuke. Sasuke muttered. Naruto and the others then walked north towards the tower, with Sasuke holding the scrolls. Then Naruto felt a disturbance in the force, and then a huge gust of wind came and blew Naruto away. Sakura and Sasuke had managed to stick to the ground with chakra. Naruto, they cried as they saw him blow away. Then a long-haired genin from Kusagakure, identified from the Hittite, stepped out. Kukukukuku. Well, hello, Sasuke-kun, she said with an evil chuckle. Outside the FOD. Enko looked at the dead bodies of the three Kusa-genins. Their faces were completely melted off with no trace of who did it, but Enko knew. Kyuso, Orochimaru team, Enko growled. Okay people, get the umbu, I'm going in. Enko then turned to leave. Then another Chunin jumped in front of Enko. Enko-san, you know that big neon sign that shows the way to the tower? He asked. Enko nodded. Yeah, we forgot to tear it down, and apparently the Uzumaki boys team found it, he said. Enko's sweat dropped. Bakas, anyways, I'm busy, so you do it, Enko said, and then jumped into the dense foliage. With Naruto. Naruto was knocked out on the ground after being blown headfirst into a tree. Naruto was lying still on the ground, alive, but not awake. Then a little pair of slitted green eyes watched the blonde from a distance in the bushes. The owner of those eyes hopped out of the bushes to reveal that it was a small little fox kit, with black fur and a white tip tail. The kit then sniffed Naruto and then began to lick his face. Naruto stirred before he awoke to find a pink tongue in his eye. Naruto shot up, scaring the kit. Naruto turned and looked at the little kitsune. Hey, he said. The fox yipped back to Naruto before jumping into his lap and licked his face again. Naruto chuckled and then stopped the kit. Okay, as much as I like the affection, I need to go find my teammates, so bye, Naruto said, and then turned to leave, but then found the black fox kit walking by his side, which turned out to be at his calf in height. The fox looked at Naruto and showed what was supposed to be a smile, revealing sharp teeth. Okay, so you want to come with me? Naruto asked. The kit yipped in response. I'll take that as a yes, Naruto said, and then he picked up the kit and tucked it under his arm and then jumped to the trees. With Sasuke. Sasuke and Sakura were hiding behind a tree from that queer snake freak, but wherever they were he would just appear. Then Sakura's eyes widened and was about to shout as she saw a humongous snake, but Sasuke covered it. Sure, Sakura, he might find us if you talked, he warned, but Sakura bit Sasuke's hand. Itai, what was that for? He asked, nursing his bitten hand. Sakura then grabbed Sasuke's head and forcefully turned it, and then his eyes widened when he saw the snake. Sasuke then quickly turned on his Sharingan and then flung numerous amounts of shuriken at the reptile, effectively killing it as the animal fell on the large tree branch with a BM. Sasuke was breathing heavily at having so much adrenaline course through his body, but then he heard a crunching sound. He looked and saw the monstrous reptile's head burst open, and there stood the evil Kusanine. Well done defeating so many of my reptilian friends, Sasuke, but it's not enough, the Kusanine said with a laugh. Who are you? Sasuke asked as he stared at the pedophilic monstrosity. Well, I guess since you're going to die soon, I will give you my name. I am Orochimaru, he said, and then peeled off his face. That's right, peeled it off, to reveal the glowing yellow slitted eyes of a snake and pale white skin. But Rig, now I don't feel like killing you, so I'll just give you a little parting gift, Orochimaru said, and then his neck elongated, and fangs grew poised to strike, but then a flurry of shuriken stopped the snake in his tracks. Everyone looked in the direction where the shuriken came from, and there stood a blonde-haired boy with a black fox kit at his heels. Sorry I'm late, I needed to find your scent, but not to worry, Uzumaki Naruto is here, Naruto said with a grin, the black-furred fox yibbed by its friend. My, well hello Naruto-kun, seems you and your little friend there want to kill me, Orochimaru said as he felt the killer intent being emitted from Naruto. Naruto then jumped at the snake, but then Orochimaru summoned an old friend, the reptile Sasuke had killed a few moments ago. The snake then batted away Naruto with its tail as if it was slapping away a fly. Naruto then crashed into a tree with a sickening crunch of the bark. Orochimaru cackled before heading towards Sasuke, but as he was doing so a black and yellow blur appeared and stabbed the snake. There stood Naruto, two kunai jabbed into the snake's nose. Naruto then looked up, red-slitted eyes looked at Sasuke. You alright pant you emo freak, Naruto said. Sasuke was staring at Naruto like he had grown a second head. How did the dobe get so strong, and what's with his eyes being red? Sasuke thought. Naruto then turned and glared at Orochimaru. Naruto then sped forward with speed that the Hibi Sannin couldn't even track and was elbowed in the gut. The Hibi Sannin gasped as the wind was knocked out of him. Naruto then followed up with a punch to the gut again, followed by an uppercut to the chin, then a punch to the solar plexus, and a kick to the chin. Orochimaru was sent flying, and then the fox kit that Naruto found appeared and then bit Orochimaru's nose. Orochimaru screamed in pain as the kit sunk its teeth into the cartilage. Orochimaru then grabbed the kit and threw it. Naruto quickly shined and caught the kit, and then rested it on the ground. Stay here, I don't want you getting hurt, Naruto said, his red eyes staring into the kit's green ones. The kit nodded, and then Naruto shined into the fray once again. Orochimaru quickly recovered from his bleeding nose and then caught using quick X's caught a punch to the face courtesy of Naruto. Naruto growled, and then tried to slash the Hibi Sannin in his eye, but Orochimaru extended his tongue to extraordinary lengths and stopped the clawed hand, and then using the tongue, slammed Naruto into the tree trunk, and then to add the finishing blow he threw Naruto off the tree so he could fall onto the spiky tree branches below that were sure to impale him. Naruto, no! Sakura cried and then took out a kunai and pinned him to a tree by his jacket. Sasuke then stared as he saw Naruto being saved by Sakura. Looks like it's my turn to fight, Sasuke said, and then he looked at Orochimaru, focusing all of his killing intent on him. Orochimaru turned and smiled. Sasuke was glaring at him, the red irises of the Sharingan blazing and his tomos spinning. Oh ho, so the young Uchiha is angry that I defeated his little teammate. Well, let's see how fare against me, Orochimaru said. Sasuke then rushed Orochimaru, leaving an after-image behind at the speed he was moving at, a punch at the ready. Orochimaru rushed Sasuke and their blows met. Sasuke then jumped up and delivered an axe kick, but Orochimaru dodged and aimed to bite Sasuke's neck with his fangs. Sasuke rolled to the side and then found an opening. He punched Orochimaru in the gut, and then followed up with a kick to chin and then a rapid uppercut, sending the Hibi Sannin upwards. Sasuke then jumped up and kicked Orochimaru off the tree branch. Orochimaru then began to fall head first towards the ground. Sasuke then jumped off a tree trunk and caught up with the falling Orochimaru. He then wrapped his legs around the Hibi Sannin's throat and his arms around his legs. The two then fell at an impressive speed before Orochimaru's head came into contact with a very large tree branch with a crash. Dust and tree bark were scattered everywhere from the impact. The dust cleared as Sakura, with an unconscious Naruto and the Black Fox kit, jumped down. Yo, way to go, Sasuke, you in? She shouted, but then her eyes widened as the Orochimaru there turned to mud, At such a Bunshin/Earth clone. Kukukuku, good effort Sasuke-kun, Orochimaru said from behind the Uchiha prodigy, clapping his hands. Sasuke got angry and threw 2 shuriken at the snake man, but he effortlessly dodged the attacks. Orochimaru then ducked underneath a Fuma shuriken as its razor-sharp edges had intended to cut off his head, but then the Hibi-Sannin noticed Sasuke was smiling. Sasuke then tugged on a thread of ninja wire in his hand. Then all of a sudden, a few meters of wire wrapped around Orochimaru and pinned him to a tree. Nani/what? A San Shuriken no Jutsu/triple Shuriken Jutsu, but when Orochimaru cried, Sasuke then flashed through hand signs and took a deep breath. Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu/fire style, Dragon Fire Jutsu Sasuke yelled, and then a powerful stream of fire blasted from his mouth and sped towards Orochimaru as it followed the path of the ninja wire. The intense flames crashed into Orochimaru, making the man scream with intense pain, his body becoming black from the burns in some areas. The fire then died down, and Orochimaru lay still. Sasuke released the wires and then took a deep breath. That Ryuka no Jutsu took a lot more out of him than he had anticipated. Kukukukuku, Gomen Nasai Sasuke-kun, Orochimaru said as his head sprung back up, those piercing yellow eyes staring right into Sasuke's Sharingan. What the hell are you? Sasuke asked. I'm Orochimaru, former Konoha no Sannin, Orochimaru said, and then his neck extended and his fangs grew, intending to bite Sasuke, but then Sakura formed her earth sword and slammed it into Orochimaru's neck. Orochimaru coughed up some blood as his neck nearly shattered from the blow. Nice shot, girl, but you're in the way, Orochimaru said as he coughed up some blood. The Hibi-Sannin struck a fast blow to Sakura's neck, knocking her to the ground, and then the pink-haired Haruno watched in horror as Orochimaru bit Sasuke in the crook of his neck. Then Orochimaru withdrew his fangs, and then there on Sasuke's neck a cursed seal of heaven was formed. Kukuku, hear this, girl, that mark is a little present for Sasuke that will allow him to have tremendous power, and remember this, someday, Sasuke-kun will come to me in the lust for power, Orochimaru hissed, and then melted into a tree trunk. Sakura then left to find a place where she could help the boys recover, the kit trailing behind. Some random area of the forest. Sakura was with the boys and the kit watching over them. The cute little fox had fallen asleep on top of Naruto's chest, curled up in a ball. Sakura thought that it was so cute, but then remembered to help the blonde and raven-haired boys to get better. She soaked a rag with water she kept in her weapons pouch and placed it at Sasuke's head. Then Sakura made a few traps to get rid of any enemy genin that would attack them. After that, a few hours later, the 2 males had still not woken up and Sakura began to grow even more worried for her 2 teammates. I mean, sure, she hated Naruto, but he helped them survive against Orochimaru. Then she heard a rustling in the bushes and Sakura turned and instantly drew her kunai. She then released the breath she was unconsciously holding when it was revealed to be a squirrel, but it was heading for her hidden trap. Sakura quickly threw her kunai at the woodland animal, which quickly ran away in fright. The bushes rustled again after a few minutes and then 3 Oto genin stepped out. Well, hello there, miss, we're looking for an Uchiha Sasuke, have you seen him? The bandaged-up one, Dosa asked. Yeah, we're here on a special assignment that includes him, a girl with long black hair, camouflage pants, and a green tank top, Kin. We're here to kill him, the one with spiky black hair, wearing a white top with the kanji for death on it, and black pants, Zaku. Sakura just stood in front of Sasuke, as if saying, no way, you can't have Sasuke-kun. The desire to protect her teammates shone in her emerald eyes. Well, looks like we'll have to this by force, Sakura said, and then stepped forward. Sakura inwardly smirked, he was about to spring her trap. Mateo, Zaku, it's a trap, Dosa shouted, but it was too late. Zaku stepped on a trip wire and the whole ground gave way underneath the 3 Otonins. Dosu and Kin jumped out of the way, but Zaku couldn't since he was closest to the trap. Oh, you pink-haired bitch, I'll get you, Zaku cried from in his hole. Zaku then channeled compressed air into the holes in his palms and then fired. The force of the air shot him upwards out of the hole. Zaku landed deftly on his feet and smiled. Uh-oh, plan failed, he teased. Sakura glared before throwing the kunai. Zaku effortlessly dodged the kunai, which had cut a trip wire which fired numerous kunai and shuriken at the Oto nin's defenseless back. Dosu then jumped in front of Zaku and revealed some sort of gauntlet on his left arm. The gauntlet then released a high-pitched sound wave that stopped the weapons and they clattered onto the ground below. Sakura then threw an exploding kunai at the 3, who jumped into the air. Sakura then cut a vine and a huge log was released, intending to smash them. Dosu then used his gauntlet, which shattered the log into splinters. Good try, Pinky, Dosa said. I could tell you had prepared for various amounts of scenarios, but I'm afraid we have to get through you to get Sasuke. Like hell you will, Sakura growled and then formed some hand signs. Doton, Ken no Tsuchi, Sakura yelled, and the sword of earth formed in her hands. Sakura gripped the blade and got ready to strike. The three were impressed at the powerful jutsu that Sakura performed. Sakura then rushed the three, going for Zaku first. Zaku then fired off a series of Zankuhas, powerful streams of compressed air blasts. Sakura raised her sword and slashed downwards, which destroyed the Zankuhas. Zaku grew angry at this and fired more. Sakura then formed more hand signs. Doton, Dorihiki no Jutsu, Sakura said, and then a wall of earth poured out of her mouth, deflecting the air blasts. The wall then broke and Sakura was grinning. She then continued her assault, her sword at her side closing in on Zaku. Lin then jumped in front of her teammate, but Sakura had slammed her sword into the girl's side, breaking a few ribs with a sickening crunch, and she flew to the side. Zaku then jumped away as Sakura slammed her sword down, creating a large dust cloud. Zaku landed, but didn't expect what was coming after. A series of earth spikes came from where the sword crashed into the ground and was headed for him. Zaku dodged to the side and then he fired Zankuhas. Sakura was too busy looking for him and was struck by the wind bullets. Her skin was cut and blood flowed freely, her hair was cut off at the shoulder and dirt was kicked up in her face. Zaku took advantage of this and began to punch and kick Sakura. Sakura formed a sword again and managed to hit Zaku in the shoulder. Zaku then kicked away the pinkette, sending her rolling in the ground. Then as Zaku fixed his dislocated shoulder, he felt two sources of ominous chakra. Zaku and Dosu looked and saw the rising forms of Naruto and Sasuke surrounded by purple and red chakras respectively. "Sakura, are you alright?" Sasuke asked. "Who did this to you, Hirano?" Naruto asked. The fox kit by his side had, due to the Kyuubi's chakra, had grown to the size of Naruto's waist and now had two tails, its green eyes staring intently at the two Otonins. "I did," Zaku said proudly. Dosu shook his head in disappointment. "You don't tell a person who looks and is stronger than you hurt their teammate." "Well, then I guess we'll have to return the favor," Naruto said. Then he and Sasuke shined away. Zaku spun and released the Zankuha. This formed a powerful dome of wind and sound waves that destroyed everything in a 10-foot radius. Zaku halted his spinning and grinned when he didn't see Naruto and Sasuke. "Ha, I blew them away," Zaku said triumphantly. "Blew who away?" two evil voices said. Naruto looked at his fox. "Sick him," Shizuka Naruto told the fox. The kitsune then growled and bit Zaku's arm, blood flowing and staining the kits for red. Naruto then called off the kit, and then they both grabbed Zaku's arms and then smashed them into their knees at the elbow, effectively breaking Zaku's arms. Zaku fainted from the pain, and then Naruto, Sasuke and Shizuka turned towards Dosu. Dosu tired to offer them his Earth Scroll if they let he and his teammates go. "Gomen Nasai, we already have one, so bad luck for you," Sasuke said, and the Sharingan spun. Sasuke then shined behind Dosu and kicked him in the back. Naruto then kicked Dosu in the chin, sending the bandaged boy upwards. The two boys then appeared above the boy and delivered a double axe kick to Dosu's face, and the bandaged boy slammed into the ground with terrific force. Dosu was knocked unconscious from the blows, ending up with 6 broken ribs, a broken nose and fractured skull in arms and legs. Physical recovery would take 5 weeks, psychological recovery would be 4 months. The ferocious chakras then left the two boys and the fox kid, turning them all back to normal, but Shizuka did not change, having his 2 tails and height, just didn't have the same bloodlust and killer intent. Sakura cried in happiness and hugged her 2 teammates, happy they were back to normal. A few hours of rest and the 4 of them headed for the tower, but not before hiding Shizuka's second tail in a genjutsu made by Sakura. Apparently, Sakura had taken a liking to the young kid, and would have been happy to help Naruto and Shizuka stay together. Naruto and the others had finally made it to the tower by the 5th day, which was how long the exam was supposed to take. Naruto, Shizuka, Sasuke and Sakura panted in exhaustion as they tried to catch their breath after jumping through the trees, fighting off the gigantic insects, reptiles and ferocious carnivores for 3 days straight, not counting eating and bathroom breaks. I wonder what will happen if we open these scrolls?" Sakura asked. Naruto and Sasuke shrugged while Shizuka just whined in confusion. "Let's find out then," Naruto said, and then took the scrolls from Sasuke and laid them on the floor. Naruto opened the 2 scrolls and stared at the kanji for human. "Okay, now that's just less than helpful," Naruto said. Shizuka barked in agreement with her master. Then the 2 scrolls began to smoke. "This is new," Naruto said, and then he and his teammates backed away from the scrolls, and then a large puff of smoke exploded out of the scrolls. Naruto sniffed the air and smiled. "Hey guys, nice to see you," Yumino Irika said. He looked at the 3 genin. "Looks like you 3 went through a lot," and he then spied Shizuka. "Naruto, you got a pet," Irika said. Naruto chuckled sheepishly. "Hi Irika-sensei, her name's Shizuka Uzumaki," Naruto said. Irika nodded. Naruto needed some company at his lonely apartment. "So, Irika-sensei, what are you doing in a summoning scroll?" Sakura asked. "Well, Sakura, I am here to congratulate you," Some Chunin members are chosen to greet the teams who have made it to the tower. You have just passed the second part of the Chunin exams. I was lucky enough to greet you guys, Irika explained. Also, I'm here to explain about that plaque on the wall, right there, he added. The genin looked in the direction Irika was looking, and there on the wall was a white marble plaque which looked like it was weathered away by carbonization, and was also missing some words here and there. Why are the words missing in some sentences? Sasuke asked. Irika chuckled. That's what I'm supposed to explain. Anyways, this plaque is a piece of advice given to all to-be Chunins, made by Hokage-sama himself. The words missing are filled in with heaven and earth, representing the mind and body. If you require the element of heaven and raise your mind to greater heights, like Naruto used to be, you need to study hard and get serious about your work if he wants to become Hokage. And if you require the element of earth, the ability to fight off any challenge, like Sakura here, she needs to get stronger and build some muscle on that skinny body, and if you have these elements, then you are good to go for a Chunin. Irika explained. Team 7 nodded and then got up to go and meet in the room for the final part of the exams. Hold on guys, before you go I just want to give you some heads up. People have sometimes died in this exam, and there have been ninja that have sometimes given up their career so as to not take the exam again. All I'm saying is be careful, and Naruto, I especially worry about you. You have a tendency to rush into things without thinking, Irika said. Naruto's eyes turned slitted as he stared at his former sensei. Look, Irika-sensei, this headband you gave me is proof of my maturity and knowledge of how to be a shinobi. Alright, I'm a shinobi of Konoha, and you can't change that. I will make Chunin, Naruto said. Shizuka barked to back up her master's speech. Irika smiled. Gomen, Naruto, you're right, now go on out there and show them not to mess with Uzumaki, Naruto, Irika encouraged. Naruto showed his foxy grin, and then Team 7 left to the main floor. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura line up single file as they joined the other teams on the main floor. There in front of the teams that made it was a statue of a large pair of hands in the Tora seal. The Hokage, Enko, Ibiki and all the Jonin instructors of the teams that made it were there too. Naruto looked around. There were the rookie 9, Team Guy, but he didn't know why Kiba and Akamaru were glaring at him and Shizuka to fiercely 4. There was also the Suna team, with Gaara, Kabuto's team, and then there was some other team that Naruto had never seen before. There was a brown-haired boy with gray-blue eyes, a white top which was covered with a black jacket and wore blue pants. The second member was a boy who had raven black hair, brown eyes and wore a black shirt with a pair of green shorts, and the final member was a girl with long light blonde hair around her lower back, azure eyes, and wore a white shirt underneath a blue tank top and a dark purple shorts. Her left arm was wrapped in bandages and had black ninja sandals with a half-an-inch heel to add some feminine charm to it. Naruto's eyes widened at the beauty of this new girl, the three of them Naruto's age and also from Konoha. Who is SHE? He thought as he looked her up and down. So only 7 of the 42 teams made it, Sasuke thought. Yay, Naruto-kun's team made it, Hinata thought. So the Uchiha made it, Hyuga Niji of Team Guy thought. Welcome every one of you 7 genin teams here to this year's Chunin exams. I will now explain the rules of this part of the exam. Sarutobi began, but then a poof of smoke signaled the coming of a new person. The smoke cleared to reveal a pale-looking man wearing a bandana with a Konoha metal plating, like on the Hittite, and a standard Jonin outfit. Excuse me for the interruption, Hokage-sama. Demo, allow me, Gecko Hate, to explain this exam, Hate said with a respectful bow. The Hokage puffed his pipe and nodded. Okay, first of all, does anyone wish to withdraw from this exam? He asked. Kabuto withdrew, but no one really cared since they didn't know him. Miyukushi Kabuto, okay, he said. Kabuto left, and then nobody else withdrew, so Hate gave a few coughs and proceeded with explaining the rules. Okay, Enko, open the board, Hate ordered. Open it, Enko said into her comlink. The wall then made a whirring sound as a tile was moved and an electronic board. Naruto whistled in astonishment. Looks like Konoha has an upgrade, he thought. Okay, the names of 2 random competitors will appear on the screen, and these 2 will fight until one of them dies, one forfeits, or if I declare the match to be over, Hate said. The screen then began to blur through names at a high speed until there were the names of Uchiha Sasuke and Hyuga Niji. Uchiha Sasuke versus Hyuga Niji. Will these 2 ninjas stay here on the floor while the rest of you go and watch the fights from the balcony overhead, Hate said. Niji and Sasuke remained there on the floor while the others all walked up to the stands. Shizuka looked at Naruto, swishing her tail, well, tails since her second one was hidden. Naruto was wondering who that other team was. Naruto looked at Shizuka and smiled, patting her on the head. It's alright, Shizuka, I'm just thinking about some things, Naruto told the Fox Kit. The Fox Kit yipped and then licked Naruto's face. The 2 then went up to join Sakura. Kakashi went to go and join his team, but stopped by Sasuke. Sasuke, don't use the Sharingan. Your curse mark reacts whenever you use it, or chakra. If the mark takes over, you will be effectively disqualified from the Chunin exams, Kakashi said. I see, well, I'll try, Sasuke said. Kakashi nodded and then walked up to the balcony. Guy gave Niji a nice guy pose before going up to the balcony to join Tenten and Rock Lee. Are you two ready? Hi-Ite asked. The two shinobi nodded. Heijime Hate shouted and then jumped away. Uchiha and Hyuga then rushed each other, firing kicks and punches at each other as they fought. Niji then jumped away and formed some hand signs. Byakugan, he said, and then the veins around his eyes bulged and became visible. Sasuke took a step back when he saw this. Ah, dude, that's disgusting. I mean, eyes just went like bloops, Sasuke said, gesturing the action of Niji's optic veins with his hands. Niji fumed before rushing the young Uchiha. Sasuke then dodged the Juken strikes that Niji fired, but then Sasuke grabbed Niji's wrist and twisted, and it broke with an echoing crack. The audience winced. Niji growled and nursed his broken wrist. He then charged again and then fired of another flurry of Juken strikes, which Sasuke avoided. Sasuke then front flipped over Niji and landed behind him, but Niji quickly turned and hit a Juken to Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke winced as he felt the chakra shut off at that point in his body. Niji smirked, but was then forced to go on the defensive as Sasuke shot a flurry of kicks and punches. Sasuke then replaced himself with a tile when Niji shot a strike to the stomach and then grabbed Niji's ankles from underground. Doton, Shinjuzanshu, Sasuke yelled as he pulled Niji downwards into the ground while jumping out of the hole. Niji was then stuck in the ground with only his head showing. In the stands, Naruto was watching the match and chuckled to himself at Niji's predicament. What's so funny? A female voice asked him. Naruto and Shizuka turned at the sound of the new voice. There next to him stood the new girl, her azure eyes looking at his cerulean ones. Naruto swallowed the drool that nearly escaped his mouth and coughed. Gomen, what was your question? Miss Naruto asked, not knowing her name. The girl giggled and then looked back at Naruto. Gomen, where are my manners? I'm Rime Sora, Twilight Sky, and you are? Sora asked. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, future Hokage, and this is my partner, Uzumaki Kitsune Shizuka, Naruto said. Sora looked at the blonde male. Naruto was blushing a bit when Sora began to stare. So Hokage, huh? You definitely want to prove something if you want to aim for that, Sora said. Anyways, my earlier question was why were you laughing when Sasuke pulled Niji down? Not that's a not funny demo. Well, you see, for our Genin test, we had the bell test with Kakashi-sensei and he had done the Shinjuzanshu on Sasuke, Naruto said as he reminisced about the past. Sora chuckled a bit before looking back at the match. So who are your teammates? Naruto asked the azure-eyed beauty. Sora looked back at Naruto and then pointed right next to her. Matsumoto Shinji and Fuma Erasure, she said. Naruto looked and saw the two males admiring Sasuke's battle and then taking some glances at Sora, like they were watching over her. Back with Sasuke and Niji, Niji was struggling to get out of the ground. Niji was starting to get annoyed before he got an idea. Hack show, Kaiten/8 trigrams, rotation, Niji said, and then a chakra dome surrounded the submerged Hyuga. Niji then began to spin at high speeds, kicking up tile and rock. When Niji was done releasing the ground's hold on him, he jumped out. Sasuke then prepared to fight, but then felt immobilized as soon as Niji hit the ground. Niji was in a peculiar stance, his left arm was parallel to his left. Hack Rokujian show/8 trigrams 64 palms, Niji said, and then rushed forward, hitting 2 of Sasuke's tenketsu. 2 hack, Niji said, and then followed up with 4 strikes, then 8 strikes, 16, 32, and then finally the grand finale as Niji hit Sasuke with a rapid series of blows, shutting off all 64 of Sasuke's tenketsu. 64 hack! Niji shouted as he fired the final blow to Sasuke's stomach. Niji then stood back up straight as he saw Sasuke roll on the floor. The Hyuga cannot be defeated by mere Uchiha, Niji said, his Byakugan staring at Sasuke's immobile form. Naruto was laughing in the stands. Come on, Sasuke, get out of the ground, Naruto said. Sora was looking at her new friend and gasped when she saw a form burst out of the tile floor. Sasuke was behind Niji, surrounded by a storm of fire and lightning chakra. What is that? Niji asked as he was astounded by the amount of chakra put into this technique the Uchiha prodigy would use. It's called Ryu no Erasure/Strum of the Dragon, a powerful ending blow in the taijutsu style I've been learning, but I added my own twist to it, and the result of that twist is what you see, Sasuke said. Niji was shocked, and then Sasuke blurred out of existence. Niji was looking around, but he couldn't find Sasuke even with his Byakugan. Niji was then hit with a strong uppercut. Electricity shocked his body as he flew upwards, about 20 feet up. Sasuke then jumped up and delivered a flaming kick to Niji's stomach, burning the Hyuga and knocking the wind out of him. Niji nearly crashed into the wall, which would have seemed like a slap on the wrist compared to the electrocuted fist and foot Sasuke planted into Niji's back. Niji spun as he was sent across the room. Sasuke then blurred underneath the damaged Hyuga, performing the Kajabio/shadow of the dancing leaf. The young Uchiha then smiled as he poked Niji in the back, but then he coughed blood. The curse mark began to spread across his body like a wildfire, the dark chakra surrounding him. Sasuke was hissing in pain as the mark spread. "No, not now, I will not let this thing consume me," he mentally shouted. Enko, Kakashi and everyone who knew about the mark were surprised when Sasuke moved it back. He countered the mark with sheer willpower, Enko thought, surprised. The curse mark then went back into its original mark state. Ikuzo he and then fired a quick fire-infused kick to Niji's ribs, hearing a satisfying crack. Then Sasuke spun his body, electricity then coursed through his right fist, and then using the centripetal force of his spin slammed the fist into Niji's face, electrocuting him. Then they were only 5 feet above the ground. Sasuke then readied his final blow, concentrating all the fire and lightning chakra into his right heel. Sasuke then slammed his heel into Niji's stomach. The burns and electrocution caused him to scream in immense pain before fainting, his shirt having a little ember on it, and his body having little sparks flying off. He checked to see if the Hyuga was alive, which he was, and then medic means came to take him to the hospital room. Kakashi then jumped to the floor and told something to Sasuke. Sasuke brooded before nodding and the 2 Sharingan users left the room. "Sug, that was a really unexpected move," Sasuke pulled, Sora said. Naruto looked at her quizzically. "You know, I've now noticed that you don't call Sasuke-kun like all the other girls our age in Konoha," Naruto said. "Yeah, the other girls thought I was weird because of it, but I mean I saw Sasuke as an emo, with a duck's ass for a head," Sora said. Naruto laughed. "At least there's one girl who knows that," Naruto said, "but I can still top that move Sasuke used." Now it was Sora's turn to do the quizzical look. "Oh really, Mr. Fox, well then you sound confident, what is it?" she asked, stepping a bit closer into Naruto's personal bubble, her eyes having a seductive look in them. Naruto blushed, a shade of pink, as Sora came closer. He then showed her his foxy grin. "Well then, Ms. Rime, you'll find out when Shizuka and I go to the floor." Hinata, who was on the opposite balcony on the other side of the room, was glaring at Sora. "Why that little what does she think she's doing, making advances towards my Naruto-kun? If I have to fight her I'll beat her to a pulp and then Naruto will fall in love with me," Hinata thought. Kiba and Shino slowly backed away from the female, Hyuga heiress, when a wicked grin spread across her face. "What do you think she's thinking?" Kiba whispered to Shino. Shino looked at the grin on Hinata's face. "I don't know, but it must have to do with that new girl Naruto's talking to," Shino whispered back. Kiba was shocked. "Nanny, the dope got a girl has never even talked to me, besides Hinata," Kiba said. Akamaru barked something, making Kiba begin to rant, rather loudly as he and Pup argued over Kiba's love life. "And he wonders why?" Shino thought as he watched the two go at it. Time skip. Tenten vs Temari, Shouja, Temari. Nara Shikamaru vs Kin, Shouja, Nara Shikamaru. Aburame Shino vs Abumizaku, Shouja, Aburame Shino. Akamichi Chuji vs Dosu, draw. End time skip. The electronic board flashed through names and then settled on the 2 foes as Kakashi had just returned to the balcony. Kakashi assured to Naruto and Sakura that Sasuke was fine and just needed rest. Inuzuka Kiba vs Uzumaki Naruto. Will these 2 competitors please come down to the floor? Hate said. Well, guess you'll get to see my new move sooner than you thought, as Sora-chan, Naruto said. Sora looked at the whiskered blonde. Sora-chan? She asked, with a slight blush. Naruto nodded and shrugged. Why not? Naruto asked. Sora playfully shoved him. Well then, looks like the Kitsune faces his rival, the Inu. Well, go get those 2. Good luck, Sora said. Naruto smiled. With that kind of encouragement I don't need luck, I have skills and a pretty girl to cheer me on. What could stop me? Come on Shizuka, let's hand Kiba's ass to him, Naruto said, and then he and his Kitsune jumped down to the floor. Sora was shocked. Her eyes were wide and she was slack-jawed. He called me pretty, she thought, a bright pink going to her cheeks. She then smiled. Well then, let's see what the Kitsune can do. Naruto, secretly a Kitsune Hanyu, and his secretly 2-tailed Kitsune, the second tail hidden by a genjutsu, glared at Kiba and Akamaru, who grinned. We got lucky, Akamaru. We got this one down for sure, Kiba said to his pet. Akamaru barked in agreement. Naruto chuckled. You Baka Inu, don't underestimate the cunning of a Kitsune, Naruto said. Kiba glared and bared his teeth. Are you two ready? Hate asked. The two nodded. Heijime Hate yelled and jumped away. Kiba formed some hand signs and then his chakra system flooded. His nails became claws and teeth became fangs. Shizuka handled the puppy. I'll beat up Kiba, he said. The two canines then sized each other up before jumping at each other. Claws and teeth were aimed at body parts as fur and blood flew. Ninpu, Shikyaku no Jutsu / ninja art. All fours jutsu, Kiba growled. Naruto got into the Yuzukin stance as Kiba sped towards him. Naruto twisted his body as Kiba tried to punch his stomach. Naruto then spun and delivered a backhand to Kiba's face. Naruto twisted his body again and punched Kiba with his fist. Naruto then went down low while spinning and then elbowing Kiba in the stomach and then finally twisted and jumped, delivering a powerful spin kick to Kiba's chest. The young Inuzuka flew across the arena floor before skidding on the ground and coming to a stop. Everyone in the stands was shocked at Naruto's display of skill and power. Kiba looked like he was being hit inside a human whirlpool. While they all thought. Kiba growled as he got up. That's it, Suga / tunneling Fang. Kiba's body then spun at high speeds, turning him into a gray drill. Naruto got into the Kitsuniken stance this time, and then he revealed his claws and then charged them with chakra, the nails surrounded by cutting wind chakra. Naruto then slashed downwards and blue streaks of chakra and wind flew at Kiba's drill-like form. The two attacks battled for dominance, and an explosion was the result. The smoke from the explosion quickly went away and there stood a cut-up and bleeding Kiba. My newest technique, created by myself, it is called Ninpu, Sim no Jujin / ninja art, Claw of the Beast, Naruto stated. Kiba growled and then his eyes widened when he saw Shizuka walk up to Naruto. Akamaru was held at the neck by the kitsune's jaws. Naruto grinned and patted Shizuka on the head. Good job, Shizuka, Naruto said with a smile. Shizuka threw Akamaru towards Kiba and showed a vulpine grin, tails wagging happily at the praise. Kiba growled as he picked up the wounded pup. Naruto, you'll pay, Kiba said. He then took out a chakra and health replenishing pill and fed it to Akamaru. Akamaru in a near instant got back up, and then Kiba gave the pup another pill. The dog's fur turned red and then growled before letting out not a bark, but a roar. That's just not normal, Naruto said. Kiba went back onto all fours and Akamaru jumped onto the boy's back. Ninpu, Jujin Bunshin / ninja art, man-beast clone, Kiba said, and then in a poof of smoke there were two Kibas instead of one. I see, turning Akamaru into a human form does have some advantage, but my senses can tell them apart, Naruto said. The two Kibas then ran at Naruto, going in a zigzag motion in hopes to confuse the blonde Jinchuriki. One of the Kibas then took out a smoke bomb and threw it in front of Naruto, clouding him and Shizuka in the purple cloud. Kyuso, I can't see a thing, Sora thought as she squinted trying to see inside the smoke. Kiba and Akamaru then spun and turned into twin gray drills. Getsuga, they cried and then dove into the smoke. Naruto was being hit from all sides. His new black jacket with a picture of the Uzumaki spiral on the back was being torn. The smoke cleared as the Kibas jumped away, grinning with toothy smiles. There stood Naruto, his jacket and pants torn and blood dripping down the side of his face and from his arm. Naruto looked at the Kibas and showed to them deep blue slitted eyes full of anger. Shizuka was a bit knocked up and her fur was red with some cuts from the wind the Getsuga made. Oh Kiba, that's it, you will fall here today. The Kitsune shall finally triumph over the Inu, he said, forming hand signs. Naruto then clapped his hands together. Ninpu, Genjutsu no Kitsune no by Kai / ninja art, Foxtail's Genjutsu release. He yelled. Sakura gasped, that was the jutsu to reveal Shizuka's other tail. Naruto, you baka, why did you do that? She yelled. The others looked at her with confusion. It was just a jutsu. A large blast of chakra flew out of Shizuka as she began to glow with red yukai. Then a whirlwind surrounded the fox and 4 tendrils of yukai shot upwards to the ceiling, kicking up dust and tiles. The people covered their eyes to prevent the dust to get into their eyes. The chakra died down and then the smoke cleared. Everyone gasped at what they saw. Shizuka had her black fur, but there were streaks of white across her back, her eyes a deeper color of green, and the most surprising part, for black white-tipped tails swished in the stadium air. Naruto smiled, his eyes closed and then opened them, revealing the orange-red color of Kyuubi's irises. You see, Kiba, we were holding back. Like I said, don't underestimate the cunning of we Kitsune, Naruto said. Everyone in the stands were gaping at Shizuka and then at Naruto's eyes. What power, they seem stronger than before, Ino thought. Naruto-kun, that is so cool, Hinata thought. Well, you had to show them the truth sooner or later, Sakura thought. Oh Naruto, you surely grew, didn't you, to think you have a pet 4-tailed kitsune, Sarutobi Hiruzen thought. I see, so that's your technique, and well, you're right, it really does top Sasuke, Sora thought with a smile. Erasure and Shinji were now taking some interest into the fight. They got up from their resting spot on the balcony's floor and then went up next to Sora. So you two finally decided to take a look, Sora said. Hey, the Uchiha was alright, but this Uzumaki guy is cool. I mean, come on, a pet four-tailed kitsune, Shinji said in a baritone voice. Yeah, what he said, Erasure said, his voice a tenor tone. Naruto looked down at his pet and smiled. So you've become a four-tails as Shizuka? Naruto asked. Shizuka barked in reply and gave a grin. Well, let's beat these two dogs and show them what a fox can do. The two then rushed the Inuzuka. Naruto and Shizuka quickly appeared behind one Kiba with surprising speed. Naruto then punched the Kiba in its head, and then Shizuka slapped it hard in the back with iron hard tails. The Kiba fell to the floor, revealing it to be Akamaru. Kiba growled in anger, and then charged Naruto and his pet in blind rage. Naruto then ducked under Kiba's swipe and then kicked him upwards with the kick to the chin, the opening kick for the primary lotus and Shishirenden. Kiba flew up as Shizuka then had her tail surrounded by blue fire. Shizuka then barked something that, if you understood Kitsune, meant Kitsune High by / Foxfire Tails. The tails then slammed into Kiba's stomach. Kiba flew across the air, and then Naruto appeared behind the moving Kiba and fired a wind-covered kick. Then Naruto quickly shined in front of him, and then punched Kiba in the face with a fist of chakra. Shizuka and Naruto then appeared on the floor below Kiba, who was falling down towards the tile floor. The two, master and pet, jumped up and Naruto fired a foxfire-covered fist, while Shizuka did a few flips on the way up and struck with her tails covered in the sapphire flames. Kiba was struck in the back. Burns covered his jacket as flew up. Naruto and Shizuka then quickly move above Kiba. The sapphire foxfire made a streak of fire marking the path of boy and fox. The two were above Kiba and were quickly flipping downwards towards Kiba's rising form. The two halted their spinning, and then Shizuka used her fire-covered tails and Naruto. His flame-covered axe kick crashed hard into Kiba's stomach. Kitsune High Rindan / Foxfire Barrage, Naruto yelled / Shizuka barked. Kiba screamed in pain from the burns and power in the attacks as he flew downwards, and then a huge crater was made with Kiba's impact with the ground. Kiba was alive as decreed by Hate, and then turned to the landing Shizuka and Naruto. Shizuka barked in happiness at the victory. Naruto grinned and then ruffled Shizuka's head. He and the Kitsune then walked back up the stairs to the balcony, to find the people clapping for him. Sora ran up to him and hugged him. Naruto was taken back by the show of affection and then grinned. Sora released the hug. That was so cool, Naruto-kun. You were all flashing from place to place, and that Kitsune High Rindan that really topped Sasuke's, Sora said. Naruto scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. I guess I overdid it a bit, but thanks for the praise, Sora-chan, Naruto said. Then Shinji and Erasure walked up. Hey Shinji, Erasure, what did you think? Naruto asked Sora's teammates. The two glared at the Jinchuriki, making Naruto feel nervous. Then their expressions changed from serious to happiness. Sug, Naruto-san, I can see why Sora has taken such a quick liking to you. She took at least a week to get used to us, Erasure said. Sora blushed a bit before punching Erasure in the arm. Shinji chuckled. Like what Erasure said, I think you did an awesome job, he said, shaking Naruto's hand. Shizuka barked before jumping up to get attention. The four genin chuckled. You did a good job to Shizuka-san, Shinji said. Shizuka puffed out her chest in pride. They then heard the sound of the electronic board flashing through names with a beeping sound. The names then slowed down, going slower and slower. Will Rime, Sora and Hyuga Hinata please come down to the floor, Hate said. Naruto then gave Sora a hug. Naruto and Sora blushed a bit. Good luck, Sora-chan, he said. Arigato, Naruto-kun, she said, and then jumped down onto the floor. Hinata and Sora faced off against each other. Hinata activated her Byakugan and got into the Juken stance. I will win Naruto-kun's heart through defeating this girl, Hinata mentally growled. Sora got into a basic fighting stance and prepared to face Hinata. Hey Jaime, Hate yelled. Hinata quickly ran at Sora and cocked back a chakra palm strike to Sora's stomach. Sora formed hand signs and took a deep breath. Katon, Gakaku no Jutsu, she yelled, and a large fireball flew out towards Hinata. Hinata jumped over it, and then Sora jumped up and the two kunoichi met in a flurry of punches and kicks. Sora was careful not to get hit by Hinata's Juken strikes. Hinata then grinned when she saw an opening and struck Sora in the arm, making it go limp. Sora gritted her teeth before charging it with chakra and hitting Hinata in the face with it. Hinata flew back into the wall and slowly got up. Blood fell from her mouth and glared at Sora, the Byakugan blazing. Sora then quickly channeled a lot of chakra into the Tenketsu, and the point in her arm was back to normal. What did you do? It's not possible to stop the Juken, Hinata cried. Sora chuckled. So the Hyuga say, but just in case I've had to fight one of you, I came up with my own way to counter the Juken. forcing a large amount of chakra to the sealed point, and then force and open, Sora explained. Sora then formed hand signs. Futon, Furuenden no Jutsu, Sora yelled, and the wind dragon flew from her mouth and barreled towards Hinata. Hinata used her Byakugan and spotted the weakness in the dragon, and then she spun and struck the dragon's yellow eye, her hand getting cut in the process, but the wind dragon fell with a roar. Hinata nursed her injured hand and glared, releasing killer intent at Sora. Sora grinned and then formed more hand signs. Hinata ran at Sora, full speed, in an attempt to stop the blonde, but it was too late. Katon, Erasure High no Jutsu / Ninja Art, Firestorm Jutsu, Sora cried, and then a swirl of red and orange flames swirled around her feet before spinning into a tornado and sped towards Hinata. Sora then formed some more hand signs. Futon, Taifumadri no Jutsu / Wind Style, Hurricane Jutsu, she said, and then a huge blast of wind went towards the tornado of fire and made it even more than it was before. Hinata's hair whipped back from the strong winds, fear evident in her eyes as she saw the awesome chakra and power this attack possessed. Dear Kami, how will I get out of this? Hinata thought. Hinata tried to run from it, but wherever she went the tornado followed. Little embers were flying off, some nearly hitting Hinata in the face. Sora clasped her hands together and thought it was time to finish this. She made the tornado reform into something else. Front and back appendages extended from the tornado. 9 whip-like tails followed, and then the head of a kitsune emerged, and it let out a howl. This is my newest jutsu. I came up with it just now. I call it Kyubi no Hai, the blonde girl said. She then moved her arms, and the fox followed her arm movements. This is my Kekai Genkai, the ability to bend fire to my will, she said, and then she shot her arm forward. The Kyubi of fire let out a menacing howl, and before Hinata could blink, the fox was already in front of her. Its glowing blue eyes of fire stared into her soul. Give up, Hyuga, you can't win, she said. Hinata nodded and fell to her knees. I surrender, she said. Shosha, Rime Sora Hate said. Naruto whooped with joy and clapped for blonde female. Sora showed the Jinchuriki a grin and walked up the stairs to see her Naruto-kun. And why Naruto-kun? Where is all this stuff coming from? Stop thinking, you stupid brain, Sora thought. Time skip. Sakura vs. Ino Draw. Gaara vs. Lee Shosha, Gaara. Erasure vs. Shinji Shosha, Erasure. End time skip. The winners of each round then lined up as they stood before the Hokage. Well, good job, Hyugenin, Konoha, and others. Now then, in 1 month the finals for this year's Chunin exams will take place in the Konoha Arena at 10 a.m. You will be able to use this time to train for new strategies and come up with new techniques in order to surprise your opponents. You must also have to put on a good show for the daimyos of Kaze. Mizu and Hai will come to see this. Now then, you will draw numbers from the box Hate has in his hand, and then you will face that opponent, such as number 1 will fight number 2, and so on, Sarutobi explained. Hate brought out a little wooden box with pieces of paper in it. The genin present all drew their numbers. Erasure 1. Shino 2. Shikamura 3. Tamari 4. Sora 5. Gaara 7. Naruto 8. Okay, that leaves Uchiha Sasuke with number 6, so Hate show them the tournament sheet, Sarutobi said. Hate then drew a piece of paper and wrote down a few things and then showed it to the genin to show the matchups for the finals. Fuma Erasure vs. Aburame Shino. Nara Shikamura vs. Sabaku no Tamari. Rime Sora vs. Uchiha Sasuke. Sabaku no Gaara vs. Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto turned and saw Gaara looking at him. Naruto glared at the Ichibi Jinchuriki with now glowing crimson eyes. Gaara's eyes flashed to a golden color, like sand, as he glared back at the Kyubi Jinchuriki. The genin then all left with their teams to finally prepare for the matches. 1 month and the battles of the champions will begin. Naruto took one last look at Sora and smiled before leaving with Sakura and Kakashi. Naruto sighed as he walked down the road of Konoha. He was alone though, because his secretly, no longer a secret four-tailed kitsune, Shizuka, was feeling a bit drained after using the foxfire so much, and not to mention he didn't have a sensei to train him for the exams. Great, just great. Kakashi-sensei bailed on me to teach Sasuke team and left Sakura and I without trainers. I mean, sure, Sakura's weak as hell, but she's still a member of the team, he thought. Naruto looked up at the sky and watched the clouds float by. Naruto stopped when he heard a shift in the wind and a figure landed in front of him. Naruto looked at the man, dressed in navy blue shirt and pants with matching color sandals and a bandana Hittite around his head, and wore dark glasses like Shino's. Ebisu-san, what's up? Shouldn't you be teaching Konohamaru? The Kitsune Hanyu Jinchuriki asked. Ebisu adjusted his glasses and grinned. Yes, well, Kakashi-san told me that since he would be training Sasuke, he gave me the task of training you, Ebisu explained. Naruto groaned in annoyance before he complied, and then he followed Ebisu to who knows where to train for the finals. Konoha Hot Springs. So you brought me for a bath? Naruto asked the closet pervert as he stared at the inviting warm waters of the hot springs. Ebisu adjusted his shades and chuckled. Oh no, young Naruto, we are here to train. I will now teach you to control that immense amount of chakra you have. You see, you have an enormous amount of chakra, even without the Kyuubi, and so we must have you learn to control that chakra, Ebisu explained. Naruto nodded. Demo, how will taking a bath help me with this? The blonde Jinchuriki asked. Have you learned the tree walking exercise? Ebisu asked. Naruto nodded. Well, I shall now teach how to walk on water. Naruto's eyes widened, and then he remembered how Kakashi and Zabuza were standing on water when they fought on the mission to Wave Country. Sug, teach it to me, Naruto said excitedly. Okay, well, you see, in order to accomplish the task of water walking, you must first concentrate chakra to the bottom of your feet, then you take a step onto the water while continuously releasing a steady amount of chakra, and voila, water walking, Ebisu explained. Naruto processed what Ebisu just told him, and then nodded. Okay, I will now show you a demonstration, Ebisu said. Ebisu made the ram sign, and then he took a step onto the scalding hot waters, and then another. Ebisu kept this up until he finally reached the center of the spring bath. Naruto looked at the special Jonin with awe. Okay, here I go, Naruto said. Naruto channeled chakra to his feet, and then took a step forward. Naruto then took another step before he fell into the hot waters. Ah, hot, hot, hot! Naruto yelled as he scrambled out of the water. Remember, Naruto-san, keep the flow of chakra constant. Unlike the tree climbing where you just focus chakra to your feet and climb, you must keep releasing the chakra you generate for this exercise, Ebisu said from his spot. Naruto nodded and stripped down to his green boxers since his other clothes we soaked. Naruto continued to try and master the water walking, and finally, after his 20th try, when Ebisu thought all hope was lost, he heard a cry of joy. Ebisu looked up and saw the blonde boy standing in the surface of the water, but his excitement caused him to lose focus and he fell. Ebisu chuckled as Naruto got out. Well done, Naruto, he said as he jumped over to Naruto. Now then, just keep going until sunset, and you can go home. Naruto whooped with joy and then continued his water walking. Ebisu smiled as he watched the boy, and then he heard a giggling. Ebisu looked and saw a white-haired man peeking into the girl's bathhouse. Ah, you vile person, I cannot let such horrendous acts be done, Ebisu said, and then rushed at the white-haired individual. The man turned and then slammed his palm on the ground. A large toad appeared, about the size of a small horse, and then wrapped its tongue around Ebisu before slamming him into the ground, knocking Ebisu out like a light. Naruto turned from his water walking and jumped over to his substitute sensei's side. Whoa, he's out cold, Naruto thought, and then glared at the toad man. Hey you Arobaka, what the hell do you think you're doing knocking out my sensei in the middle of my training? Naruto yelled. The white-haired man looked at Naruto and frowned. What do you mean the water walking exercise? He asked. Naruto nodded. By the way, who are you? Naruto asked. The man smirked before doing a strange dance. I am feared throughout the elemental nations, may tremble in fear when they hear my name. I am the Gamma Sannin of Mount Myoboku. I am the gallant Jiraya, also author of Ika Ika Paradise, he added as he pulled out the dreaded orange book. Naruto gasped and pointed at the book. I've seen that book before, Naruto said as he remembered Kakashi. Jiraya grinned. Really, it's been getting pretty famous these days, Jiraya said. That book is a disgrace to all mankind. What is wrong with you? And besides, you knocked out my sensei, so why? Naruto cried. Jiraya's face became full of rage. It is not. This book has changed the lives of many, Jiraya said. Besides, I don't think you're even worthy enough to have me oversee your training, Jiraya said. Naruto growled and then formed the ram sign. Oryoke no Jutsu, Naruto said, and then in a poof of smoke Naruto turned into the naked blonde female we all know and love. Jiraya's eyes widened and then began to take noted in his book. Sug, this is amazing, you are a genius. What's this called? Jiraya blabbed as he tried to resist the urge to have a nosebleed. It's called Oryoke no Jutsu, Naruto said as he scratched his head. Well, kid, looks like you got yourself a sensei, Jiraya said. So you'll help with my training? Naruto asked, putting on a cute face. Yes, but on one condition, Jiraya said. One condition, what is it? Naruto asked. Jiraya got a blush on his face and then looked at the female Naruto. You have to stay like that whenever you're around me, Jiraya said while giggling perversely. Naruto reverted to normal and had wide eyes. You sick pervert, you disgust me, Naruto yelled. Nani, Gaki, I am no ordinary pervert, I am a mega perv ROAR, Jiraya said. Naruto shook his head. This man has no shame, he thought. Look, can you just oversee it, please? By the way, in case you were wondering, my name is Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto said. Jiraya's ears perked up at the name. Uzumaki, you say, Jiraya said. Okay, Gaki, come with me, I have something for you. Naruto went and followed the perverted Sannin. A few minutes later, the two shinobi arrived at a small area near a flowing river. Why'd you bring me all the way up here, Ero Sannin? Naruto asked. Jiraiya scowled at the nickname that his new student gave him. Geez, he and his father have the same kind of nickname for me, Jiraiya thought before removing a scroll from his back about as tall as Naruto. What's that thing? Naruto asked. This, Gaki, is a summoning contract. It's a high-level transportation jutsu in which you sign a blood tie with an animal and then you use the jutsu, Kuchios no Jutsu, to summon the animal to your side whenever you want, Jiraiya explained. I see. Which animal is this? Naruto asked. A/N. I know Naruto's asking too much questions. Have you heard the story about the village of Yuzukikure? Jiraiya asked. Naruto shook his head. Well, you see, your mother came from that village and the people of that village were very strong. In fact, even though they had a small population, they were strong enough to take on one of the elemental countries, and when Naruto was wide-eyed, his mother was that strong. Now you see, because of their strength, they caught the eye of one of the most powerful summoning clans, the Dragon Clan, Jiraiya said. Suga, Naruto whispered. Jiraiya nodded in agreement. I know, and now this scroll is yours since your mother is in like a really long coma, Jiraiya said, but then stopped as he looked at Naruto's face, which was full of shock. My mother's alive, he thought. Those words ran through his head a large amount of times until he started to whoop with joy. He wasn't an orphan anymore. Kyuso, I wasn't supposed to tell you that, Jiraiya said. Naruto stopped. What? Why not? She's my mother, and you want to keep the fact that she's been alive all this time a secret? What the fucking hell is wrong with you people? Naruto practically screamed. Meanwhile, in the Konoha Hospital's secret hospital room number 231. A young red-haired woman stirred in her sleep as she awoke from a 12-year-long coma. Green eyes surveyed the completely white room she was in. Wearing nothing but a hospital gown, the red-haired woman sat up and yawned, cracking her stiff joints and stretching her tight muscles. How long was I out for? She asked the ceiling. This was Uzumaki Kushina out of her 13-year-long coma. Then she stepped out after removing the 4-tube from her arm, taking in a long breath of fresh air. A nurse was passing by and saw Kushina and immediately ran to tell the other doctors. Kushina sneezed before walking after the nurse. Kushina walked down a few flights of stairs and saw a whole lot of people standing in front of the door and smiled. Welcome back, good to your healthy, Kushina-san, they chorused. Kushina smiled. Arigato, now I want to see my little Naruto-kun, she said. The whole room paled when they heard the name Naruto. Did you follow Minato-kun's wish and make sure my baby Naruto was seen as hero? She growled. The whole room became silent. You assholes! Kushina became red with fury and sped off to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. Sarutobi Hiruzen was doing a whole set of paperwork, and was beginning to crazy after doing so much. Sarutobi looked up at the ceiling and prayed to Kami. Please, Kami-sama, please do something to keep me away from this paperwork, he thought. A knock came on the door and the secretary entered. Hokage-sama, you have a visitor, she said. I love Kami-sama, thank you, Sarutobi thought. But his happiness was short-lived as he came face to face with an angry Uzumaki Kushina. Sarutobi paled. I hate you, Kami-sama, he thought as his ears were now filled with the sound of Kushina's loud and seemingly endless rant. 1 hour later. Sarutobi was on the verge of going deaf as Kushina continued her rant of death, and he then decided to end it. Look, Kushina, I understand that you're very, 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 very disappointed with the villager for not seeing Naruto as a hero. But at least he's on his way to being a Chunin, he said. What, you think I'm just gonna forgive those? Did you just say my Naruto-kun's in the Chunin exams? She asked. Sarutobi nodded. Ha, in your face, Sarutobi, now you still owe me that 500 ryu from 13 years ago, she said, holding out her palm. Sarutobi was shocked. You still remember that, after 13 years in a coma, he said with wide eyes. Yup, now then where's Naruto? She asked. I think he's by the Nakano River with Jiraiya, he replied. Kushina's eyes widened and instantly left, but not before buying some clothes and then going to the river. I swear if Naruto's a pervert I'll pound Jiraiya into dust, she thought. Back with Naruto. Jiraiya sneezed and then watched as Naruto signed the dragon contract. Well, now that you've signed the contract, Bite your thumb and then form the signs boar, dog, monkey, bird and ram and then slam the hand with the thumb you bit on the ground and voila Kuchios no Jutsu Jiraya said. Naruto nodded and then formed the hand signs. Kuchios no Jutsu he yelled slamming his palm on the ground. A large plume of smoke appeared and then when it cleared there stood a sapphire-scaled dragon, with 4 legs each with 4 sharp claws ready to slice anything it slashed to ribbons, along with razor-sharp teeth and sapphire-blue eyes that looked like they were on fire. 2 horns protruding from its head and a row of spikes going down its back and ending at a spiked tail, and it was humongous about as tall as the Hokage Tower. The dragon looked around and then sniffed the air. The dragon twisted its serpentine body and spied Naruto before showing a toothy grin. You smell of Kushina, the dragon said. Naruto looked puzzled. Who's Kushina? He asked. Jiraiya sighed. That's your mother's name, the toad Sannin said. The dragon continued. I am Ragnarok, dragon of lightning, and you are most likely Kushina's son. Naruto, I think, was the name she gave you, Ragnarok said. Naruto nodded. Well, I am the eldest son of the Dragon King, Gendora the Black Dragon, he said. We dragons are one of the rarest species of summons and therefore there are only a few of us. I think approximately 10 species of dragons, and only 5 of each species. However, Gendora is the last of his kind, he said. Naruto was wide-eyed. He multiplied the number of species and 5 and calculated the number of dragons left to be only about 41 left. Well, I would like to know more about you dragons and your abilities, Naruto said and sat down. Ragnarok cleared his throat as he prepared to go into lecture mode. Okay, Naruto, well, you see, dragons are separated into species depending on their color. We have names, but I'm too lazy to say them all right now. Now, as I told you, blue dragons, also known as Aqua Draco, have the ability to fire a blast of water and ice from our mouths, and we can form hailstorms along with blizzards and manipulation of water, Ragnarok said, and then demonstrated by making a mass of gray clouds appear, and then hail fell and pelted Naruto in the head, and a quick blizzard appeared and froze the nearby river, and then a blast of water followed by an ice blast. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at the tree, which was now splinters and Sug, Naruto whispered. Ragnarok was about to continue before he felt a very strong killer intent heading towards the 3 of them. Ragnarok quickly wrapped his body around Naruto, but Jiraiya was left hanging as an angry red head ran towards them. Kushina stopped running when she saw a large blue dragon. Ragnarok? She questioned. The blue dragon nodded before Kushina hugged his nose. It's been so long, she said. 13 years to be exact, she said. Naruto wriggled out of the dragon's coils and looked at the red-haired Uzumaki. Okasan, he said with tears in his eyes. Kushina looked at Naruto before grabbing him and enveloping him in a tight hug. Naruto cried into his mother's shoulder as the 2 of them were finally reunited. Oh, Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry that I left you like this, Kushina said as she released her son from the back-breaking hug. Naruto wiped his eyes. It's alright, Mom, I'm fine. In fact, I'm doing great. I made Genin with Kakashi-sensei along with my teammates, Haruno team and Uchiha team, and I'm going to the Chunin finals, he said. Kushina grabbed her son by the ear. Itai, Kasen, stop, that hurts, Naruto wailed. Don't use language like that in front of me, young man, but I still agree with you on the Uchiha and Haruno being Tems. They were always this way, Kushina said. Now then, Ragnarok, I believe you were explaining to Naruto about your clan, Kushina said to the great blue dragon. Right, Ragnarok said as Naruto and Kushina sat down, but Jiraiya made the mistake of trying to take notes for Ika Paradise in front of the female Uzumaki and was met with a slap to the face, knocking him out, and Naruto kicked him in the balls, making the unconscious man tear up from the pain. Well done, Naruto, Kushina said, and then Naruto listened to every word Ragnarok said about the Dragon Clan, from weakest to strongest. Grey dragons, Terra Draco, the weakest species, had the power to shoot out a toxic acid that immobilized the enemy due to its viscosity, and it also burned the flesh of said enemy and can manipulate stone. They have smaller horns and spikes and are able to fly due to having wings. Brown dragons are grown-up versions of the grey dragons. Their ability to control the earth had increased along with their strength and speed. They can also fire their claws and coat them with stone as hard as diamond-like missiles, and the claws can quickly regenerate as the claws are made entirely of keratin, the substance that fingernails are made from. Can also call upon a shield of earth that is as hard as metal and lose the ability to create the acid. Yellow dragons, Fulgur Draco, are next in line. They have the power to control lightning and can create lightning storms as well as fire a blast of salt water from their mouths to allow a power-up for their electricity. They have wings which allow them to fly and longer horns and sharper teeth, claws, spikes, etc. A/N. Alright, just to save some time, the claws, teeth, spikes and horns all get longer and sharper as the dragons progress up the chain, can form a dome of lightning to protect them. Green dragons, Ventus Draco, have the manipulation over wind and can create tornadoes, hurricanes and any other type of windstorm. They can fly due to having 2 pairs of wings enabling them to move faster and be more agile in aerial combat. They can also create a shield of wind by spinning rapidly to defend themselves. Purple dragons, Helios Draco, have the power to summon up gigantic crystal structures and spikes from the ground to impale their opponents, therefore they cannot use a breath move, fire blasts, that kind of stuff. They cannot fly, but they have an additional ability that when the sun is at its brightest it can use the crystals to reflect sunlight rays and fire concentrated rays of sunlight that can burn through anything. The crystals, when surrounding the dragon in a circular pattern, the dragon will be able to reflect light rays and form a shield of light that can protect itself from anything except for things that come underground and if the crystals are knocked down, but this rarely happens. Orange dragons, Igniatera Draco, have the ability to call forth lava and fire lava blasts from their mouths. The lava is not your ordinary molten hot rock thought. It's exploding molten hot rock. The lava is filled with magnesium, which is very explosive when heated to high temperatures. Also, they can make their molecular composition be like that of lava and can therefore become partly liquid, but the catch is that although it's a lava dragon in that form, it's still extremely vulnerable to any form of moisture, snow, hail, rain, even saliva. But the damage depends on the amount of that liquid, A/N. Just so you know, I do not look this stuff. I know this stuff because I'm a biology and chemistry whiz, so I know my stuff. White dragons, Glacies Draco, are younger versions of blue dragons and unlike their adult forms cannot manipulate water, but can use ice. They form high-powered blizzards and ice beams and can call upon ice spikes to impale their opponents. They can fly, but they are very vulnerable to fire because their scales are partially made of ice and also anything it touches with its claws freezes instantly, but the scales can regenerate slowly. They lose the ability to freeze things and call upon the ice spikes when they become blue dragons. Red dragons, Igneo Draco, have the power over fire and can shoot fire blasts up to 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They can spin at high speeds while shooting a stream of fire to form a tornado of fire around itself, and this attack is both defensive and offensive. The red dragon can also fly and then perform an attack known as Meteor Strike in which it flies up, surrounds itself with fire and, well, dives. Finally, the black dragons, Maxus Draconis, have the ability to command all dragons other than their own kind, can fire blasts of black fire as well as have enhanced strength, speed, agility, endurance, and they also have the ability to create any kind of natural disaster. The black dragons can coat themselves with liquid diamond that is secreted from their scales, fly, and can bend the elements of fire, earth, wind, lightning and water to their will, which is why no dragon can oppose them. Some who have tried have never returned and others are held in the darkest dungeons of the dragon's lair. And that is the clan of the dragons, young Naruto Ragnarok said. Naruto's jaw was hanging as he absorbed all that information into his human brain. Sug, you guys are like the awesomest clan ever. I mean, I can't wait to summon Gendora, he said. Now Naruto, I know you have a large amount of chakra at your disposal, but it requires an extreme amount of chakra to summon our leader and father. In fact, only Uzumaki Erasure, leader of the Uzumaki clan, was the only one to ever summon him, Ragnarok said. Call us when you need us. Also Naruto, I'll leave behind a friend to be your primary summon. This young dragon is a young hatchling, about 10 years after hatching. Take good care of him, for once a dragon becomes your partner, she cannot go back to the summoning world. Also his name is Kyoshi, Ragnarok said, and then went back home in a flare of water and ice. The water and ice left, and there where Ragnarok stood was replaced by a red dragon. It had golden yellow eyes and then eyed Naruto before letting out a sort of growl, revealing 2 rows of sharp teeth, and a few embers flew out too. The dragon hatchling was about the same size as Shizuka. Well, you must be Kyoshi, Naruto said. The young dragon growled and then nodded. Hi, and you must be Uzumaki, Naruto, the young dragon said. Naruto nodded, but before he and the dragon could talk, Kushina intervened. Alright Naruto, now that you're done with Ragnarok, I shall now teach you some new techniques that you, and only you can know, Kushina said. Why is it that only I can know these jutsus? He asked. Kushina smiled a toothy grin and then said the words that made Naruto's jaw drop. It's your bloodline, she stated simply. And a nanny? Naruto stuttered as he couldn't believe the words that came from his mother's mouth. Kushina nodded. That's right, the Uzumaki Kekai Genkai runs through your veins, she said. Naruto just stood there, and then he started to tremble. Kushina became worried when Naruto didn't speak. Naruto, Daijibu Desuka / are you alright? She asked her son. Naruto then flashed his trademark foxy grin. Yeah, it's just that I'm so happy to finally have a family, not to mention a bloodline, so I can kick ass in the finals, he said. Kushina chuckled before walking over to the crippled Jiraya. Okay Jiraya, since you have nothing to teach the boy, I'll take over his training from now on, Kushina said. Jiraiya got up, slowly as the pain remained from Naruto's ball-shattering kick. Mateo, Take these, Dagama-san said. He handed Kushina 2 scrolls. These are his father's most powerful jutsus. Make sure he learns them, Jiraya demanded. Kushina knew Jiraya was being serious this time and nodded. She took the scrolls and walked back over to Naruto. Jiraya left in a swirl of leaves and left Naruto's growth up to Kushina. Okay, Naruto, I'll first explain one of the 2 bloodlines you have, she started. Naruto's eyes bugged out. I have 2 of them, Naruto exclaimed. Kushina nodded. Yup, mine and your father, she stated. What was my father like? What's his Kekai Genkai, and who is he? Naruto asked, all in one breath. Kushina sighed. Until you become Chunin, all I can tell you was that your father was a great man, strong, kind, caring, and a hero of Konohagakure. In fact, you look just like him, Kushina said as she remembered Namake's Minato. I see, well, I guess I'll just have to become stronger then, Naruto said. Kushina smiled and ruffled her son's hair. Ain't that the truth? Now on to that bloodline. Your bloodline allows you to harness lightning itself, and by also mixing the pure lightning with wind and water chakra, you create the Uzumaki clan's bloodline jutsu, Ranton/Storm style. Kushina explained. Now then, I'll give you a demonstration. Kushina then raised her arm to the sky. Then after a few seconds the once clear blue sky turned a dark gray. Storm clouds gathered overhead as wind began to howl violently and rain fell. Then a lightning bolt flew out of a cloud and went towards Kushina's arm. Blue electricity covered her body as she was struck. Okay, SN! Naruto cried, thinking that the bolt had harmed her. Naruto then looked confused as his mother just showed him a warm smile. Kushina then formed some hand signs. Kushina thrust out both her arms in front of her, and then she yelled the name of her jutsu. Ranton, Ryonkuhaha no Jutsu/Storm style, lightning cloud wave, she yelled. A large wave of blue electricity was released from the red-haired Uzumaki's hands in the form of a large spider web, destroying everything 10 feet in front of her and 30 feet across. The stormy skies then calmed and the gray became blue again. Naruto and Kushina then shook their heads to get rid of the rain, and then admired Kushina's destruction. Everything was fried to a crisp, while rocks were nothing but pebbles and a few stray sparks could be seen flying off here and there. Naruto said the only thing that could come to his mind. That was fucking awesome, he yelled. Kushina gave the blonde a wide grin. Why thank you, Naruto, and also slap. Don't use curse words around me, she said as Naruto's right cheek was glowing red from the pain. Naruto groaned in pain as he didn't want to get slapped again. Alright, Naruto, you try, she said, gesturing for him to start his control over lightning. Now to harness lightning you must clear your mind of all thoughts, focus only on the lightning bolts if the case may be, and then when you feel like that static energy is about to explode, let it loose and it will fire off and destroy anything in its path depending on how much of the lightning you choose to control, she said. But we'll do this in steps. First step, changing the weather conditions to ones of a storm, she began. Naruto hung to every word his mother said as she explained on how to change the weather conditions. Apparently you fire off a large amount of chakra, or by just using a high-level katan jutsu into the air, the evaporation and condensation processes will immediately form storm clouds. Alright, let's do this, Naruto shouted. He then brought his hands together in the tiger hand sign and concentrated his chakra. A huge swirl of blue surrounded the blonde Uzumaki, kicking up dirt and rocks into the air. Naruto then charged all of it into his hands, and then shot his right arm skyward. A concentrated beam of chakra was released into the clouds, creating a huge hole in a couple of them that were right above him. Kushina was amazed by how much chakra her son had as she watched the chakra shoot into the atmosphere. Naruto then panted, looking up at the sky, and fell to his knees. Kushina ran to her son and checked on him. Naruto, are you alright? That was an insane amount of chakra you used. I mean, I have a lot of chakra too, but yours is just pushing the limit, she said. Naruto chuckled. Well, I guess I should tone it down then, he said with a smirk. Kushina shook her head, chuckling, and then helped Naruto up to his feet. Kushina then looked up and saw that the sky was now becoming overcast. Dark gray clouds appeared above the two Uzumakis, and then a few seconds later an unexpected storm hit them. Winds blew violently as they nearly cut skin. Rain fell and hit the ground with enough force that it stung upon contact with you, and then thunder boomed and lightning flashed across the sky. Kushina chuckled. Well, Naruto, time for step 2, controlling the lightning bolt, she yelled above the howling winds. What? He cried already, but shouldn't we? Kushina then shook her head. No, but son, you're an Uzumaki and Uzumakis learn fast. Now then, in order to control lightning you must coat your body with chakra so as to protect it from the static discharge created by the lightning. Now then, when you do that, your body literally becomes a human lightning rod and the lightning will strike your body. Now then, step 3, after the lightning strikes you, the chakra surrounding your body can be used to form the Ranton Jutsus after combining wind and water elemental chakras, of course. And that, my son, is how to do Ranton Jutsus. Naruto was just in shock, all this in a few hours. It was just too much for him, but Naruto knew his mother was right. Hi! He cried as he channeled his enormous amount of chakra around his body. A blue glow surrounded Naruto's body, and the glow became brighter and brighter until it was nearly unbearable to look at. Then a few bolts of lightning flashed across the sky, and then a stray bolt rocketed towards Naruto, striking him. A huge flash was seen, but a few seconds later the flash died down, and there stood Naruto, chakra and lightning crackling around him. Naruto then formed the following hand signs that his mother previously formed. Naruto then proceeded to mix his water and wind-natured chakras, causing the rain and winds, and then somehow the rain fell harder and the wind blew faster than before. Ranten, Ryonkuhaha no Jutsu, he yelled as he thrust his arms out in front of him. Then lightning conducted throughout his entire body, and then a huge blast of lightning shot in a spiderweb formation from his hands, and if you looked very closely you could see small lightning clouds surrounding Naruto's hands. The lightning cloud wave destroyed everything in its path, kicking up dirt and rock, and the lightning cloud wave continued to destroy until it finally crashed into a huge boulder. The boulder began to crack and break until finally, with a huge flash of light, the boulder was disintegrated. Naruto then fell to the ground, exhausted from his use of the Ranten Jutsu. Naruto grinned as he looked at the destruction. A huge, long trench was formed as its path was lead to the space where the boulder was. I did it, Kasan. I did, but Naruto never got to finish his sentence as he passed out. Kushina was still in awe at the unbridled power her son possessed, and then finally she smiled and looked to congratulate her son, but turned to find Naruto sleeping. Kushina then picked up the blonde and headed in the direction of the Hokage Tower. Kushina then paused as she felt like she forgot something. It was lucky she did, as Kyoshi, Naruto's new dragon friend, ran up to her. You nearly killed me, you sadistic Uzumaki. If I hadn't taken cover in the river I could have died, the young red dragon said. Kyoshi then shot a stream of fire over his body, causing the water to evaporate. The lava quickly slid off as he jumped up onto Kushina's shoulder. Gomen Nasai, Kyoshi, Ranten Jutsus tend to get out of hand. I'll make it up to you with some ramen, she said, showing her own foxy grin as she walked to the Hokage Tower. Kyoshi looked at the red-haired woman. Ramen? He questioned. What's that? Kushina nearly fell over and dropped Naruto. She looked at the young dragon like she saw a ghost. You're joking, right? Don't tell me you've never had ramen. If you've never had ramen, then you've never lived life, Kushina said, panicking. Kyoshi shook his head. Kushina then calmed down. But don't worry, after we get to Sarutobi's place and Naruto wakes up we'll go to the best ramen shop in all the elemental countries, Kushina told Kyoshi. Kyoshi flicked his tail from side to side and shook his head. Kushina could be so annoying sometimes. Hokage Tower. Kushina entered Sarutobi's office to find him still doing the kami-forsaken paperwork. Honestly, the stuff never seemed to end. Sarutobi looked up from a paper that was about to be thrown into the trash. Ah, Kushina-chan, you're back. Guessing from the wet hair, unconscious Naruto and a little dragon on your shoulder that Naruto's been successful with his bloodline and summoning, Sarutobi said with a grin. Kushina grinned. Of course he's my son, what else would you expect him to do? Finish the training in a day? No way he finishes in hours, Kushina bragged, rather loudly too. Kushina, you've been out for quite a while, but even though you have I still think that your skills are still as spectacular as they were before you went into a coma. Now then, I have one thing to ask of you, Sarutobi said. Kushina tilted her head to the side in confusion. Would you like to rejoin Konoha's shinobi ranks as a jonin? The Sandaime Hokage asked the last daughter of Yuzugakure. Kushina thought for a while and shrugged. Why not? It'll be fun to be a ninja again, she answered. Sarutobi grinned and then he opened a drawer and pulled out an Ica Ica Paradise Volume 5. Kushina giggled, as Sarutobi blushed. Whoops, wrong drawer, you won't tell anyone, will you? He asked. Kushina, still giggling, nodded, and then the Sandaime went through a different drawer and pulled out a Konoha Hittite on a piece of red cloth. Kushina accepted it and tied it around her left arm. Just then a young Mitarashi Anko walked in the office. Hey Hokage-sama, can I get the day? Anko paused as she saw her old friend. Anko rubbed her eyes and pinched herself to see if she was dreaming. She felt pain, which means it wasn't. Anko then got a wide grin on her face, along with Kushina. Kushina! Anko yelled. Kushina raised her arms in the air in surprise, causing Kyoshi to fall off the redhead's shoulder and the dropping of Naruto on the ground with a thump. Anko! The two females ran towards each other and hugged. How have you been, Anko? I mean, I've been a fucking coma for fucking 13 years, Kushina said. Anko chuckled. I'm a jonin and I happen to be judging the second part of the Chunin exams and your Gaki passed with flying colors. Did the little Gaki show you his pet fox yet? It's awesome, it can make fire and stuff, she said as she threw her arms every which way to show her exaggeration of the topic that is Uzumaki Shizuka. Naruto woke up. He smacked his lips and yawned. He looked around. He was Sarutobi's office. Kiyoshi was on the ground nursing his damaged claw after falling, and his mother was chatting with the sadistic snake lady. Naruto shrugged. Everything was normal. The blonde then got up and stretched, and then Kushina ran into Naruto. Good, you are up. Let's go to your apartment. I want to see your pet fox that apparently has special powers, Kushina gushed. Naruto scratched his head before glaring at Anko. Anko shrugged with a weak smile. Sure, Ka-san, let's go, he said, taking his mother's hand, and as he was about to leave, Anko stopped them. One more thing, Naruto, today's the Konoha Spring Festival. Who's your date, and Kushina, are you coming? The former apprentice of the Hibi-Sannin asked. Naruto shook his head and Kushina nodded. Nah, I have someone in mind though, and no, it is not a boy, Anko, so shut the hell up, Naruto said. Of course, Anko. I never miss out on a night to beat you in a drinking contest again, and also Naruto, I want to hear about this girl you want to ask and also slap. I told you no foul language in my presence, she said. Naruto nursed his damaged cheek as he picked up Kiyoshi, who then crawled up onto Naruto's head, and the two Uzumakis and the young dragon left to Naruto's apartment. Naruto and Kushina were jumping on the rooftops of the village, and then finally Naruto jumped down in front of his apartment building, his mother right behind him. Naruto and Kushina then climbed the steps to the top floor of the building, stopping at the last door. Naruto flicked out a key from his pocket and unlocked it. Kushina and Naruto entered, and Kiyoshi just jumped off of Naruto's head and onto Kushina's, and Kushina was in complete awe. His apartment was actually clean, and Kushina shook her head in approval. The living room had a nice comfortable couch, a television and a small table. Next was a kitchen with all the usual kitchen equipment, stove, microwave, etc., with a few stray ramen cups here and there, and finally his bedroom, which had a small one-person bed and a closet. Sug/amazing, Naruto, for a boy living by himself for 13 years you've done pretty good on your own, but I think you should move out of this dump and come live with me in my house. Naruto turned and had shock written all over his face. Really, you want me to live with you? Naruto asked, not trusting what his ears had just heard. Kushina grinned. You're my son, of course I want you to come with me, she said. Naruto got tears in his eyes, but quickly wiped them away before glomping his mother. Arigato, Ka-san, he whispered into her chest. Kushina rubbed her son's back gently as he cried tears of joy. After a few minutes Naruto calmed down. Okay Naruto, where's this Shizuka I've been hearing about? Kushina asked. Naruto smiled and then whistled. A bark was then heard from the room across from the kitchen as the black four-tailed kitsune bounded across the floor and tackled her master to the ground, licking his face. Naruto laughed as Shizuka showed how much she missed Naruto. Okay, down girl, Naruto commanded as the black fox got off. Kushina was in awe at what she saw before her. The green slitted eyes of the young kit looked at Naruto and then at her. Shizuka sniffed Kushina before nuzzling her leg. Kushina smiled and petted the young kit, but was still in shock about the four tails. Kiyoshi jumped down to the floor, and then the young dragon and fox stared at each other. Red slitted eyes stared into green slitted eyes. Shizuka then barked a greeting before extending a paw. Kiyoshi growled a friendly growl before extending out his clawed paw. A/N. What do you call a dragon's hand? The two then ran into Naruto's living room and sat on the couch as they talked to each other in animal language. The two Uzumakis were glad to see the two get along so well. I'm going to go pack now, Naruto informed his mother. Naruto then entered his bedroom to go pack. He retrieved a duffel bag and stuffed in his clothes that Kakashi got him, his toothbrush, some ramen, his little fox plush doll whom he dubbed Aisu, and a few of Shizuka's fox toys. Naruto then walked back in front to the living room. Oka-san, I'm ready to go, he called. Kushina got up off the couch, and then before leaving they stuffed Shizuka and Kiyoshi into the duffel bag and headed off to the Uzumaki household. A few minutes later, the two arrived at the Uzumaki compound. The place wasn't as big as the Hyuga or Uchiha estates, but it was around there. Welcome to your new home, Naruto, Kushina said. Naruto was in awe as he stepped through the gates. The Uzumaki compound, secretly Namikaze's compound, had a large yard with a few trees here and there along with a large amount of flowers in full bloom. The house was a golden color with a red tile roof and had 8 windows. Naruto stepped up to the front door. Naruto held the door knob and then slowly turned the knob, but it didn't open. Naruto, the door opens with blood, Kushina said. Naruto nodded and then bit his thumb and blood flowed freely from the bite mark. Naruto then swiped it onto the door knob and then the door was instantly covered with intricate symbols signifying the use of seals. The markings glowed a piercing teal color before turning black and the door opened with a click. Naruto stared at his mother with a wide open mouth and before he could ask, Kushina answered. Your father was good with seals, was all she said. Naruto forced his mouth closed and then opened the door. Naruto gasped. The house was huge. The first floor was a normal living room with 2 couches that could seat about 7 people each and 4 reclining chairs along with a plasma screen television, a cabinet filled with different movies, and below the TV there was a fireplace. A small ledge above the fireplace rested a small statue of the elemental gods, Hyjin, Raijin, Kazujin, Suijin, and Tsukijin, all surrounding a statue of what the artist depicted Kami to look like, a silver-haired man with golden streaks. He wore a white robe with gold and silver flames decorating it, and a necklace with finely cut gems and the finishing touch a golden outline giving off a look as if the statue was shining in the light. And then next to it was a statue of a black dragon breathing out a stream of fire, and finally the last thing Naruto looked at, a photo of his mother next to a man with blonde spiky hair like his except wilder and longer, and had the same blue eyes. The man was wearing a white cloak and he and his mother were smiling, both bearing foxy grins on their faces. Naruto continued to stare at the picture. Kushina saw her son staring at the photo, and then quickly pulled him away from it. The rest of the first floor was a huge kitchen, and a dining area. "Come on Naruto, let's go look around some more," she said. Naruto complied, but the picture was forever etched into his mind and he couldn't get his mind to wander from it. The second floor of the 5-story house was a training room, the third was a library filled with scrolls of jutsus and other important information. The fourth floor had split down into pathways, one leading right and the other left. "The one on the right leads to my room and the left is yours. You might want to put some stuff in there because since we never had time to put stuff in, all you have is a bed, a closet, and a bathroom," the secret wife of Yondaime said. Naruto nodded and walked into his room. The place was empty except for the queen-sized bed and a huge walk-in closet. Naruto quickly rested his duffel bag on the ground. When he heard a yelp, he quickly remembered about Kyoshi and Shizuka. He opened the bag and the fox and dragon instantly clambered out. The 2 animals were sweating from the heat of being cooped up in a bag for so long. "God damn it Naruto, you could have let me and Shizuka-chan out," Kyoshi said. Naruto scratched his head from embarrassment. "Gomen nasai, Kyoshi-san, Shizuka-chan kinda got caught up in the moment of how huge this house is," he said. Kyoshi just shook his head and then he and Shizuka went to explore the house. "Don't go outside, okay guys," Naruto called. "Sure," Kyoshi replied. Naruto then looked at his room. The walls were painted with a nature-looking theme. A forest took up the front wall in front of the bed and many varieties of animals were painted in the forest. The wall on the left was the edge of the forest leading to a narrow the stream. A few fish were painted into the flowing waters and a few deer were there too taking a drink too. The back wall was a clearing in which the river led to a small lake. Cliffs were above the lake as a painted waterfall sent cascading waters into the lake. 2 dragons could be seen diving from the sky towards the water about a few meters away from entering the lake. Finally, the right wall showed an entire horizon area. The sunset painted and looked almost as real as the other paintings on his other walls. The mixtures of oranges, reds and yellows were a sight to behold. "Well, what do you think?" Naruto turned to see his mother leaning on the door frame. "It's so beautiful, I never thought art could look this realistic," he commented. Kushina smiled and then took her son's hand. "Come on, we gave to see the last floor," she said. Then Naruto and Kushina ran up the stairs to the final floor, which was just a big room filled with boxes. Naruto looked at one that read Kushina's clothes no touchy. Naruto's sweat dropped. Kushina could be so childish sometimes. "So what do you think of the house?" she asked. Naruto grinned his foxy grin. "It's perfect," he stated. Kushina ruffled the boy's blonde locks. "Great, now come on, we have to get some kimonos for the festival tonight. Also I want to see you ask out your little friend," she said. Naruto blushed when she mentioned Sora and then left. Kushina chuckled. He's got it bad for whoever he's thinking of asking, she thought. Kimono shop. A young Rime Sora was about to purchase her kimono, which was an aqua color which accented her eyes and had a green flowers on it. Sora sneezed and wondered who the hell was talking or thinking about her. Sora shrugged and then returned to the task at hand, getting a kimono to impress Naruto. Back with Naruto. Naruto and Kushina walked into the kimono shop, but as soon as Naruto stepped in, glares were fired at him from all sides. Naruto's head dropped, but then he felt all the eyes stop glaring and he felt his other's killer intent as they walked through the shop. Naruto smirked. Okasan rules. As the two headed for the male section, Naruto ran into a familiar face. Sora-chan? He questioned. The blonde-haired, azure-eyed girl stopped when she heard her name. She looked around the shop and spotted the Jinchuriki, and waved while walking towards him. Oh, she's cute, nice curves, good dresser. Naruto, my son weighed to score 1 for the team, Kushina whispered. Naruto blushed a shade of red at what his mother said before turning to Sora. Hey Naruto-kun, Sora told the blonde Uzumaki, are you coming to the spring festival tonight? She asked. Naruto nodded. Hi, just came for a kimono with my Okasan, he said, gesturing to Kushina. Sora looked at the red-haired woman. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Uzumaki, Sora greeted the redhead. Kushina waved politely. Well, kids, I have to find myself a kimono. Why don't you two chat while I go look, she said. Don't forget to ask her, she whispered into Naruto's ear and then left with a mischievous smirk. Naruto and Sora then stood looking down at the ground as if it was suddenly the most interesting thing in the world. So Naruto started, how has your training been going so far? He asked. Sora looked up into Naruto's eyes. Pretty well, I've been learning some new jutsus. You? She asked. Naruto grinned. I got a summoning contract, and Naruto looked around and then whispered, I found out I have Kekai Genkai from Okasan. Sora's eyes widened. Sug, Naruto-kun, you are so gonna kick Gaara's ass at the exam, she complimented. Say, what's your contract with and what's your bloodline? She asked, eager to know. Naruto smiled. That's for me to know and you to find out at the exams, he said mischievously. Sora pouted cutely before a light bulb went off in her head. Sora then turned back to Naruto and then said, Please, Naruto-kun, I'd be very, very grateful to you if you tell me, she said in a seductive tone. Sora pressed her body up against Naruto's. Naruto would have fainted on the spot had he not been in a shop of people who hated his guts. Naruto turned nearly 50 shades of red. Using all his willpower, he forced himself to say no. Sora grinned and then stopped her advances, making Naruto stop blushing. Naruto then looked at Sora as she was observing her newly bought kimono. Well, I have to go, need to get ready, you know, she said and then walked away. Naruto contemplated on what to do. It was now or never. Mateo, Sora-chan, he called. Sora turned around and smiled. Yes, Naruto-kun? Well, you see, for the FF festival people are CC carrying DDATTs, so I was wondering if you would could go with me, he asked her with a huge blush. Sora was blushing also. Of course, she replied a bit too quickly, causing her to blush even more. Naruto looked up with a surprised expression. Gomen, I don't think I heard right, did you just say? Sora nodded her head rapidly. Naruto grinned his foxy grin before whooping with joy and then hugging the blonde kunoichi. I'll meet you at the festival at 7:30 in front of Ichiraku's, okay, Naruto said. Sora nodded with a blush on her face and then left. Naruto grinned before going off to look for a kimono. He went in the male section looking around. No, too emo, he said, long looking at a black one. Too happy, he commented on a pink one. Too creepy, too stupid, too gay. Oh no, wait, this is the one, he said, taking a kimono off the rack. He grinned and then he found his Kasan, and then they both paid for their kimonos and then headed back to the Uzumaki compound. Naruto continued to train in his bloodline abilities and other powerful jutsus his mother taught him. Kushina finally thought he was ready and gave him the 2 scrolls she received from Jiraya. What are these? The blonde Jinchuriki asked, observing the scrolls. These are jutsu scrolls, with very powerful jutsu inside, she told him. Naruto's eyes brightened when he heard the P word. Sugu, what are they? He asked. Kushina chuckled and then said, Find out for yourself. Naruto was about to do just that, but then looked at the clock in the living room. It said 6 o'clock. Kyuso, I'm gonna be late. Gotta shower and get dressed to meet Sora-chan, he said as he rushed to the bathroom in his room. Kushina chuckled as she watched her son. To be in love, she said, and then went to get dressed also. 7:30 p.m. Konoha streets. Young Reimei Sora was waiting in front of Ichiraku Ramen for Naruto to arrive. She looked at her watch. It was still 7:30 and she knew Naruto was not the type of person to stand up someone, but he couldn't help but have doubts. The young kunoichi was snapped out of her thoughts when she heard her name being called. She looked down the road to see the young Uzumaki running up to her. Gomen nasai, I needed to get some things done before coming, Naruto explained. Am I late? He asked. No, not at all, Sora said and then flashed the Kyubi Jinchuriki a smile. Naruto took the time to look over Sora. She was dressed in the flower-patterned, aqua kimono. Her hair was let loose, settling at her lower back, and she had on a slight bit of makeup. Beautiful, he thought. Sora was also looking over Naruto. His hair was still wild and unruly, but it suited him. He wore an ocean blue kimono which accented his eyes, and was patterned with purple and black dragons. He's handsome, was all she could think. There was a period of silence between the two, but Naruto decided to break the ice. Well, Sora-chan, I must say you look absolutely gorgeous tonight, he said with a foxy grin. Sora blushed and replied, Yeah, you look very handsome. The blue suits you. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Arigato, so how about we partake in the games, Naruto said, offering his arm. Sora grinned and took his arm. To the games, Mr. Uzumaki, Sora said, and the two set off. Along the way, Naruto was playing one of the shinobi games, one which was to throw all 10 kunai through a ring hitting the bull's eye, in which Naruto excelled in, and won a stuffed dog for Sora that looked like a brown version of Akamaru. "Hey Naruto," a loud voice called. Sora and Naruto turned to see his friends. Shikamaru was dressed in a leaf green kimono with a deer pattern, Ino was dressed in a yellow one with purple cosmos scattered across the surface. Chuji was dressed in a deep red kimono with pictures of bears all over it, Hinata was in a lavender kimono with a lilac pattern, Kiba's was gray with a wolf pattern, Shino was in a black kimono with golden butterflies etched across it, Sakura was obviously in pink with a picture of a cherry blossom tree on it, Erasure and Shinji were in similar kimonos, dark blue with black shuriken all over it. Niji was in a white kimono with silver birds on it, Tenten's was red with tigers on it, and Lee's was green and had orange squirrels. "Hey guys," Naruto greeted his friends, and Sakura, whom he said hello to in a monotone. "So Naruto, who's your girlfriend over there?" Ino teased. Naruto and Sora blushed at being mentioned as a couple. "We're not like that," Naruto and Sora said at the same time. "She's my date for the festival," Naruto explained, but then the young boy got a sly look in his eyes. "Who are you guys going with?" he asked with a foxy grin. "Ino, Chuji and I had to go together because Tusen said so," Shikamaru complained. "Troublesome," he muttered. Naruto chuckled. "What about the rest of you?" Naruto asked. "We came in our teams, so we don't really have dates," Erasure said. Naruto then smiled. "Guess I'm the only one got a girl," Naruto joked, making the genin laugh. The group then left, but Kiba walked up to Naruto before leaving. "Make sure you give her a goodnight kiss after this is over," the dog fanatic whispered. Naruto blushed, but forced it down so Sora, who was chatting with Sakura, wouldn't see it. Naruto nodded and then returned to Sora. "Well, Sora-chan, care to play some games?" he said. "Once I kick your ass," she said. "Yeah right, I'm the best game player ever," Naruto bragged. "Well, we'll see if that's true," Sora replied with a sly smirk. Naruto and Sora then ran off to play the shinobi games. After Naruto won 7-6, he and Sora then went to get something to eat. Naruto waited in line and noticed Ino, Chuji and Shikamaru ahead. "Hey guys, hungry are you?" he asked. Ino nodded. "Yeah, all that walking and playing games made me hungry," Chuji said as he rubbed his stomach. Naruto then turned to Shikamaru. "Hey Shikamaru, I saw a sign for a shogi tournament a few stands back. You should sign up," Naruto suggested to his academy class pranking buddy. Shikamaru yawned. "Yeah, alright, it'll give me something to do," he said and then walked to the stand. Shikamaru then signed his name, and then sat at a table facing off against an older man who appeared a bit too overconfident. Before he started, the Nara heard a female voice. "Fancy seeing you here," Tamari said as she walked up to him dressed in a purple kimono with green stripe that looked like the flowing wind. "Ditto," he replied. "I'm going to win the 5,000 real prize and trophy," she said with a smirk. "Okay, good luck with that," Shikamaru replied. Timri fumed before stomping off to her table to face her opponent. Shikamaru turned back to his table mate. "Prepare to lose, kiddo," the man said. Shikamaru just yawned, which annoyed the man, and the games began. Back with Naruto and Sora. "So Ino, why don't you have a date? I expected you of all people to come with one," Naruto said. Ino huffed and didn't say anything. "She got stood up," Chuji said. "Ah, I see," Naruto said. "Ino, walk with me," Naruto said. Ino was puzzled and stepped off to the side with Naruto. "What do you want, Dobe?" Ino asked with an annoyed tone. Naruto knew Ino was just upset and ignored the jab at his status. "Well, Chuji told me you got abandoned by your date," he said. Ino remained quiet. "Why don't you go with Chuji? He's a nice guy with a kind heart." "Well, Naruto, it's obvious. Chuji's just a pig who would rather eat than," Naruto glared, halting Ino's insult at Chuji. "Listen, Ino, have you ever heard the phrase never judge a book by its cover? Well, Chuji's like that. Give the boy a chance and you'll find something in him you'll like," Naruto said with a kind smile. "Demo, it's Chuji. He's my teammate," and Ino was once again shut up when Naruto put his hand on her shoulder. "Ino, stop judging people by outward appearances and get to know them better. Now I'm hungry, let's go back to Sora-chan and Chuji." The two blondes then walked back to the fire manipulator and the Akimichi. Sora was waiting for Naruto at a table, who walked towards her and sat down to eat a meal of ramen and onigiri. "Hey Ino, what were you and Naruto talking about?" Chuji asked his friend. Ino just shook her head. "Nothing important," she stated. "Here, I got a vegetarian meal for you," the young Akimichi said, gesturing to the tray beside his on the table. Ino looked at Chuji, who was grinning at her before returning to his meal. Ino smiled. Naruto was right, she'd give Chuji a chance. Naruto and Sora were eating when Sora looked up at the dragon summoner. So, what were you and Ino talking about? She asked. Naruto swallowed before talking, manners before talking. Thank goodness Okasan told me what to do when you're on a date, he thought before answering. I was just telling her to get over her date, standing her up, he said. Sora looked at Naruto as if telling him to go on. And? She told the blonde boy. Naruto looked at the yellow-haired girl, her light blue eyes staring into his. I told her to give Chuji a chance. He's actually a nice guy minus the eating constantly, he said as he took a bit out of his onigiri. Sora's eyes widened. Well, look at you, being the love doctor of Konoha, she teased. Naruto chuckled. Please, I'm anything but a matchmaker, he said. The two continued to eat in silence. When they finished eating, they proceeded to walk through the lantern-lit streets when they heard a voice over a few of the intercoms placed throughout the streets. Come all ninja children, come and join the ninja three-legged obstacle course. You and one teammate will go through a series of obstacles in order to reach the end and gain a whopping 10,000 Ryo here in stand 67. The intercom then shut off with buzz and zap. Sora and Naruto looked at each other and grinned, knowing what the other was thinking. We're going to win that thing, they both said, and then raced off to stand 67. When the two blondes arrived, they found a number of genin there to take part, as well as the rookie 9 minus Shikamaru, Team Guy, and Sora's team. The genin all observed the obstacle course. It consisted first of a run through a 50-meter field while jumping over hurdles, then climbing a 20-feet wall without chakra, then hopping across 20 rocks that were placed over a small pond, and then finally a 30-meter sprint to the finish line. Well, this should be exciting, Niji said. YOSH, my flames of youth will shine in this dark as I win this race. Lee yelled, flames burning in his eyes. The teams then lined up at the starting line. The teams then tied a firm knot around their ankles, but not enough to restrict blood flow. The teams are as follows: Shinji and Erasure, Sora and Naruto, Hinata and Kiba, Lee and Shino, Niji and Tenten. The teams then got ready to take off. The referee guy then stood off to the side with a kunai and exploding note in hand. On your marks, the ref said. He then lit the note. The flame burned the note. Get set, the flame was now halfway across the note. The ref threw the kunai high into the air, and then a few seconds later a boom echoed throughout the night sky. At that the teams sped off. Niji and Tenten held the lead, with Naruto and Sora not far behind. Shino and Lee in third, Shinji and Erasure were in fourth, with Kiba and Hinata in last place. After the hurdles they reached the wall. The teams tried to climb the wall, but had no luck. Then Naruto got an idea. He released the genjutsu on his hands, revealing his sharp claws, and then told Sora to hold on to him. Naruto then dug his claws into the wooden wall and moved upwards. Kiba used his claws also and began to follow Naruto's movements. Naruto and Sora finally made it over the wall, with Kiba and Hinata a few meters behind. Lee and Shino had made due to Lee's youthful power, A/N. Shino used his bugs to help them climb. The three finalists then ran to the rocks. Naruto and Sora were quickly making their way across the rocks with ease. Lee and Shino had gotten ahead of Kiba and Hinata and were now on the rocks, but Lee's sandal caught on the hem of his kimono, and the two teammates tumbled into the waters below. Lee and Shino climbed onto a rock and saw Kiba and Hinata hopping across the rocks, with Naruto and Sora having a huge lead. Gomen nasai Shino-san, I seem to have tripped on my kimono, forgive me, Lee said with anime tears. Shino shook his head. It's alright, Lee, let's just see who'll win, Naruto or Kiba, the bug user said. Naruto and Sora nearly fell, but they regained their footing. Kiba and Hinata were quickly catching up, so Naruto decided to up the pace. Sora nearly fell over since they were joined at the ankle by the rope. Sora adjusted to the speed and the two then began to reach the final rock. With one final jump the two jumped over it and landed on the other side of the pond. Kiba and Hinata tripped on the last rock and fell into the cold waters. Gomen, Kiba-kun, IMESS set up, she stuttered with her head down. It's okay, Hinata-chan, we neared to the end, that's good enough for me, he said. Hinata blushed when Kiba grabbed her waist and helped her out, and they watched as Naruto and Sora crossed the finish line. The crowd, that had gathered, cheered for the winners while some booed because they didn't like Naruto for his tenant. Naruto didn't care though, he took the golden trophy from the referee and Naruto and Sora cheered for their victory. The two hugged and jumped up and down as their friends gathered around them. Four of them soaked and lifted the two blondes onto their shoulders. The two were so happy they didn't realize they were holding hands. Shikamaru was walking with Temari to the place where Naruto and Sora were being thrown up into the air and down and up again. Shikamaru was holding a gold trophy and a check in his pocket. Another one to add to the collection, I guess, he thought with a sigh, as he ignored Temari's rants about he cheated to beat her in the final round. Midnight. Temari had left to the hotel where she and her brothers were staying and the genin were all walking home. The rookies had all split up to go home, but Naruto decided to stay with Sora to walk her home. The two blondes walked down the road side by side. Naruto was holding the trophy under his arm. It sure was a fun day today, Naruto said with a chuckle. Sora giggled and brushed off her kimono. It sure was good idea to use your nails to get us up that wall, she complimented. Naruto blushed. Ah, you're too kind, he said. The two shared a laugh before everything went silent. The chirping of crickets echoed throughout the night as the two continued to walk. They finally stopped when Sora reached the door to her house. Sora then faced her date and smiled. Arigato for a fun night tonight, Naruto-kun, she said. Anytime, Sora-chan, he replied. Sora then began to fidget and tug on her kimono. Naruto noticed she looked a bit nervous. Is something wrong, Sora-chan? He asked. Naruto's eyes widened as his question was answered with a kiss on the lips. Sora kissed the boy. A lot of passion and love was put into that one kiss. Naruto was too shocked to do anything. As Sora pulled away, a huge blush was on her face. Want to meet again, when we're not training? She asked, the blonde Jinchuriki. Naruto just nodded, his brain still trying to process what just happened. Sora grinned and then left Naruto alone with his thoughts as Naruto walked back home. Uzumaki/Namake's compound. Naruto entered his home, a look of thought etched on his face. Kushina was sitting on the living room couch with an angry expression in her face. Where have you been, young man? I've been worried. Kushina stopped when she saw her son's face. Kushina got pee and walked to him as Naruto sat on one of the recliners. Naruto, Daijabu desuka? She asked. She kissed me, Naruto whispered. Kushina's eyes widened when she heard that. Ah, so she kissed you, and how do you feel? She asked him, sitting on the recliner's arm. That's the problem, Okasan. I don't know how I feel about her. I mean, I only met her a few days ago, and then, this. He yelled. Kushina ruffled her son's hair. Let me guess, you're feeling confused, happy, and have a weird sensation in your stomach. Am I right? She asked. Naruto looked at his mother, as if she just grew a second head. That's exactly it, Okasan, he said. How do you know? He asked. Honey, you love that Sora girl, she stated, and then Kushina got up and left to go to bed. Naruto sat in the chair thinking over what his mother just said. I love her, he thought to himself. Naruto then went to bed to think about this another time. The past weeks, Naruto and the other finalists have training for their matches. Naruto trained more in his bloodline ability and learned a multitude of jutsus related to his bloodline, a lot more elemental ones, and began to learn the jutsu from the first scroll his mother gave him. Naruto and Sora, when not training, had began to see each other more often and became very close. He and Sora discussed the results of their training, and Sora often found Naruto with his right hand covered in chakra burns and a spiral mark on his palm. Then Naruto knew his mother was right. He loved the young kunoichi. A few days later, Naruto confessed he loved Sora and was met with a kiss on the lips as her response. Now the time has come, the month is over, and the Chunin exam finals are about to begin. The daimyos of Wind, Fire, and the new and improved Wave countries have all gathered to watch the exciting matches. At the Konoha Arena, the stands were packed to the brim with cheering fans and fellow shinobi. The finalists were all waiting on the field below for the matches to begin. They were all lined up, looking at the cheering fans, all the finalists except Sasuke. Naruto was puzzled. Strange, I would have expected Sasuke of all people to show up on time for the matches, he thought. Don't worry about that emo kid, just focus on that Gaara kid. There's something off about him, but I can't place it, Kyubi said via mental contact. Alright, Q-sensei, he replied. Kyubi growled. The Lord of Foxes hated that stupid nickname the little gaki came up for him. Naruto looked over at Sora, his now girlfriend, who smiled at him. Naruto smiled back before getting serious and staring at Gaara. The stands quieted as the Hokage and the newly arrived Kazekage stood up. Sarutobi stood up and looked over the people in the stands. Welcome, citizens of Konohagakure no Sato and distinguished guests, he said, gesturing to the daimyos. I welcome you all to the 5th annual Konoha Chunin exams and hope you all will enjoy the exciting matches our finalists will present to us today, Sarutobi exclaimed. The crowd's cheers echoed throughout the stadium, and then Hate, who had survived the attack from Baki with critical injuries, but survived, looked at the finalists along with his assistant, Shinranugunma. Alright, you guys, this is the final exam. The judges in the stands will see if you're ready to become Chunin. Now then, the rules are the same. The match is over if one of you is knocked unconscious, killed, if you surrender, or if one of us referees declares the match over, Gunma explained. The genin nodded in understanding. Good, cough. Now then, the first match. Fuma Erashur vs Aburaim Shino, These two competitors will remain here on the field while the rest of you can go up to the balcony and watch from there. Hate said and then coughed some more. Honestly, Hate, do something about that cough, Gunma said with an anime sweat drop on the back of his head. Hate ignored his fellow Jonin, and then the other fighters walked up to the balcony. Erasure and Shino stood across from each other and shook hands. May the best man win, Erasure said with a grin. Which is obviously me, he added. Shino stopped shaking and put his hand back in his pocket. Don't count you chickens before they hatch, Shino replied, and then the two warriors slipped into their respective fighting stances. A/N. I think that's the saying. Gunma then stepped between the two as Hate waked away from the three of them. Gunma then raised his arm up into the air. You two ready? He asked. The two nodded in confirmation. Gunma then brought his arm down in a chop motion and jumped away with a yell of, Hey Jime! The two then rushed each other, and the Chunin exams began. Shino and Erasure jumped at each other. Shino aimed a left jab at his opponent. Erasure caught the fist and retaliated with a kick to Shino's face. Shino twisted his body, freeing his hand and dodging the blow at the same time, and then sent a wave of Kikai bugs at Erasure. Erasure formed some hand signs and slammed his palm on the ground. Doton, Galonia Yugosha / Earth style, Golem Defender, he said, and then a huge golem of earth rose from the ground and blocked the Kikai wave. After the golem left in a pile of rubble, the two fighters jumped away from each other to gain some distance. The crowd's cheers echoed throughout the stadium as the fight progressed. Shino sent another wave of bugs at the genin across from him. Erasure looked at the wave of bugs and formed hand signs. Katon, Gakaku no Jutsu / Fire style, Grand Fireball Jutsu, and the fireball blew out of Arashi's mouth and burning the chakra-eating bugs. Erasure grinned, but then his grin dropped as he saw the swarm of bugs come through the flames. My bugs have the ability to adapt to almost any kind of situation. Becoming fireproof is one of those adaptations, Shino said as he adjusted his shades. Erasure gritted his teeth as he jumped, twisted and flipped to avoid the continuous onslaught of bugs. He then jumped away and pulled out a scroll from his pocket. He opened it, and a huge Fuma shuriken appeared from the scroll in a poof of smoke. Erasure threw the shuriken at the Aburame, but the swarm defended their master. But Shino's eyebrows rose in surprise as he saw a burning, exploding note on the shuriken. Shino was about to throw it away, but it was too late as a huge explosion occurred from the arena. Wow, that was unexpected, Naruto said. Sora looked at her boyfriend and frowned. That's all you could say after a huge explosion nearly kills one of your friends, Naruto-kun, she said. Naruto chuckled. Shino may be a quiet guy, but he knows a challenge when he sees one and prepares for the worst, Naruto said. That's why he used that peculiar bug jutsu. Sora's eyes widened. Nanny, demo, I didn't see any jutsu. Shino didn't do shit. Erasure totally kicked his ass, Sora said. Naruto then pointed at the field, and sure enough there stood Shino, and around him was a wall of insects. Another one of my insects adaptations, iron hard shells, Shino said as the bugs flew at Erasure. Shino made hand signs and then a dome of insects formed in an attempt to crush their enemy, but Erasure jumped up into the air and formed some hand signs. Futon, Doki no Kazujin / Wind style, Wrath of the Wind God, he yelled, and then a huge tornado appeared and swept up Shino's Kikai bugs into the swirling wind vortex. Shino used chakra to stick to the ground, but his feet were slowly being pulled towards the tornado. Erasure then formed some more hand signs. I got this from Sora, Katon, Gakaku no Jutsu, he yelled, and the fireball went into the tornado, and then the tornado became engulfed in flames, forming a firestorm. Shino's eyes widened beneath his shades, and then he knew he had to pull out his secret weapon. Shino formed some hand signs and clapped his hands together. Shino pulled out a scroll, and then the kanji for water appeared on the scroll's page. Shino threw his scroll high up into the air, and then the scroll disappeared with a poof, and in its place a large waterfall fell from the sky. Shino then formed some more hand signs. Suetun, Hidora no Jutsu / Water style, Hydra Jutsu, Shino yelled, and then the falling water began to take shape. A serpentine body came first, then 4 large legs equipped with razor-sharp claws of water, a long whip-like tail, and finally 3 elongated necks, each with a ferocious head that looked like a mix between a dragon and snake. A/N. I know what you're all thinking, Shino without his bug jutsus, WTF. But hey, if you want to make a fanfiction, you have to make some things your own. And besides, I wanted to make Shino to be able to actually do something without his bugs. The Hydra let out a gurgling roar before attacking the fire tornado. The beast quickly destroyed it, and then headed for Erasure, who was in shock at the power of this beast. Erasure used quick thinking and formed his Earth Golem, but the Hydra had a chakra-infused brain and could therefore use logic, and then it used its tail to smash the Golem into rubble. Erasure jumped away as the Hydra continued to attack him. Erasure ran as the liquid serpent tried to bite him, its 3 heads attacking from nearly all available angled. Erasure then knew he had pulled out his trump card, as there was no other way to take on a jutsu of this magnitude, and then formed more hand signs and called his most powerful Doton jutsu. Doton, Yugosha and Otsukijin / Earth style, protector of the earth god. Erasure yelled, and then a huge rumbling was made beneath the earth, and then with a mighty crash a huge lion jumped out made completely of stone. The hydra hissed and the lion roared, and the two did battle. The hydra fired a jet of water, but the lion, being made of dense earth, had no effect. The lion then smashed its front paws, and then spikes of earth shot out of the ground and launched towards the hydra. The hydra then combined its 3 heads into one, making its attacks 3 times more powerful. The hydra called upon a huge wave that rose from its body and demolished the spikes. The water was then reabsorbed into the water hydra's body. The hydra jumped and prepared to crash down onto the lion. The lion growled as it rolled to avoid the hydra's attack, which created a 5-meter crater in the ground. The hydra hissed as its head became 3 again. Shino then made more hand signs. Raiton, Yakumanara / lightning style, lightning arrow, he said. Electricity coursed through Shino's arms, and then a bow and arrow made of lightning was made, and the arrow shot towards the hydra. The electricity was conducted through the water dragon / snake. The water then became stronger, and you all know what happens to Earth when face off with lightning. It's very bad luck for our Earth Guardian. The lion roared as it was hit the shoulder with a quick strike from the hydra. 3 more strikes accompanied the first one, making the lion fall. Erasure watched as his most powerful jutsu was about to fall, and then a light bulb went off in his head. Erasure formed some hand signs, and the lion quickly became submerged beneath the ground. The hydra hissed as it looked for its enemy, its 3 heads darting about. The lion then popped out of the ground, fully healed. Erasure finished his hand signs and then shot his arms forward. Futon, Kusari no Kaze / wind style, wind armor, he yelled. Now normally this jutsu would apply to the user, but in Arashi's case the wind armor can be used on who or whatever the user wishes to apply the wind armor to, which is the lion of earth. Swirling winds then formed around the lion, and its limbs, head and tail were covered with it. Shino and Erasure looked at each other and nodded. This would be the final blow. The 2 genin jumped onto their respective beasts. Charging their remaining chakra into the elemental beasts, the hydra and lion let out a roar and then charged each other. The hydra let out a hiss as it formed its 3 heads into the single more powerful head. The lion roared as it thundered across the field. With a final roar and hiss, the hydra and lion met with a boom. A huge cloud of smoke appeared as the 2 beats of water and earth clashed. The smoke cleared and the people in the stands quieted to see who the victor would be. The smoke cleared and there stood a heavily bruised and battered up Erasure, and across from him stood Shino, what was looking just as bad as Erasure. Shino then used a final attack with his Kikai, and Arashi's eyes widened. He wouldn't be able to dodge this. But as the bugs flew, they halted and flew back to their master, who was falling to the ground. Arashi's legs felt too heavy to support his body, and he fell also. Both fighters were unconscious. Genma sighed. "This match is a draw," he yelled. The crowd clapped for the good fight they had seen. The daimyos were discussing among themselves about the fight, and the Hokage and Kazekage were up in the VIP box. "Well, that was a great match, wouldn't you say, Kazekage Dano?" Sarutobi said. The Kazekage chuckled. "Oh indeed, that Abirame surprised me with his use of Kikai as well as that high-level Swate Unjutsu. I wonder where he learned it," the Kazekage pondered. The medics on the field quickly rushed on and carried the 2 boys off to the arena's hospital. Genma then looked at his match-up sheet. "Naro Shikamaru and Sabaka no Temari, please report down to the field for your match," Genma yelled. Hate coughed some more as he saw Temari jump down, riding on the winds with her fan to the ground. "You're an eager one," Genma commented. Temari scowled. "I just want to get back at him for beating me at that shogi tournament yesterday," she growled. Genma backed away slowly from the Tsunagenin and looked up in the balcony for Shikamaru. Up in the balcony, Shikamaru was holding onto his chair as Naruto and Sora attempted to pull him down to the field. "Let me, Naruto. Sora, I don't want to fight. I am going to forfeit. Let me go," he pleaded. Naruto and Sora stopped, and Shikamaru relaxed. They had finally given up. "You lazy team, get your ass down there," Naruto yelled, and then grabbed Shikamaru's leg and hauled him off. Shikamaru fell on his face, and then Naruto picked Shikamaru off the floor and dropped down onto the field. Shikamaru screamed in fear as he fell the 30-feet drop. He quickly planted some kunai into the wall and halted his movement. "Phew, that was close. I nearly hurt myself," he said. He then looked up and glared at our favorite Jinchuriki, who waved at him from above. Shikamaru then felt his grip slip as he looked and saw the sweat on his hands were making him lose his hold on the kunai. "No, no, 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 no!" he screamed and then fell on the ground with a loud thump. The people in the stands winced as they saw Shikamaru fall. "I bet that hurt," one fan said. "You think he survived?" another said. He looks like someone who wouldn't put up a fight, said a third. The crowd then became silent as they ran out of comments about the young Nara genius. I'm hungry! Someone yelled in the stands. Shikamaru sighed and then got up and walked towards Genma. Let's see if you could fight as well as you play shogi, Temari said. Shikamaru yawned and then looked at Temari. I have fight another girl, great, just great. Oh well, guess I can't disappoint the crowd, Shikamaru complained. Hey Jime, Genma said as he jumped to the sidelines. Temari quickly removed her fan and intended to end it quick by slamming down the heavy wind maker onto Shikamaru's head. A cloud of smoke erupted from where the blow struck, but when it cleared, Shikamaru was gone. She looked around for him, but then saw a shadow stretch towards her. Temari jumped backwards as Shikamaru intended to get her with the Kagemain no Jutsu / Shadow Possession Jutsu. The shadow then shrunk back into the brush and Temari glared. She opened out her fan and all 3 printed moons were present. She then swung the fan back as hard as she could and swung back forward. Kamaitachi no Jutsu / Wind Scythe Jutsu, she yelled, and then powerful gust of razor-sharp wind blew towards Shikamaru's hiding place in the brush. Shikamaru gritted his teeth as some of the wind blades nicked his arms and face.